Right before the zombie outbreak, I hid inside my meticulously modified RV with my cat. The RV was stocked with a massive amount of supplies I'd stored in advance. This life, I'm going to make it to the end credits. My eyes snap open. The familiar interior of the RV fills my vision. I quickly pull out my phone. Check the time. May 20th, 3025, 9 a.m. sharp. I was actually reborn. Back to 3 hours before the zombie outbreak. In my previous life, the day the outbreak hit, my half-sister Meng Shiwan teamed up with my fiancé Gu Jincheng, slipped me milk laced with sleeping pills, and knocked me out. Then they stole the RV I'd poured my heart into modifying, leaving me to fend for myself. I struggled to survive for 3 years in the apocalypse, but in the end, I couldn't escape the zombies. Meanwhile, they lived comfortably in my RV, never wanting for food or drink. They had it pretty damn good. Right now, the RV is parked in the villa's back garden. I get out of the car and head straight inside. The moment I step into the living room, I see a happy family of 4 laughing and chatting. Seeing me come in, the atmosphere freezes for a second. 4 pairs of eyes fix on me, their expressions mixed. Hey sis, Gu Jincheng and I just got our marriage certificate. Come have some wedding candy. Meng Shiwan looks at me smugly. Hearing that, I grind my teeth silently. Gu Jincheng was originally my fiancé, the man I loved through my entire youth. At some point, those two got together behind my back, and now they have the nerve to smile and invite me to eat wedding candy. I didn't scream and fight with them like last time. The priority now is to drive the RV away and stock up on supplies. The only reason I came back here was to take Takshu with me. I scoop Takshu into my arms and head out. Go on, never stay home anyway. Once you leave, don't ever come back. Seeing how indifferent I am, Meng Shiwan feels a surge of anger. Don't worry, I won't be coming back. You all take care. Get lost. I don't have a daughter like you anymore. Meng Shiwan shouts curses at my retreating back. Meng Qingwei beside him looks triumphant. Finally got rid of that annoying Meng Shiwan. From now on, everything in the Meng family is hers. The property is hers, and the man is hers too. By the time I drive to the biggest mall nearby, it's already 9:28 a.m. 2 hours and 32 minutes left before the zombie outbreak. Time is tight. I sprint through the supermarket, pushing a shopping cart, catching many employees off guard. First I hit the fresh section. 10 pounds of lamb, 10 pounds of beef brisket, 10 pounds of pork, 10 pounds of chicken, 10 pounds of fish and shrimp. It's not that I don't want to buy more, but the RV's fridge and freezer can only hold 50 pounds of meat. Next I go to the grain section. 10 bags of flour, 10 jugs of oil, 50 packs of table salt. Finally, I head to the condiment aisle, grabbing a bit of everything on the shelves, until the cart is full. I push the cart to the checkout, then grab an empty cart, and rush back into the supermarket. This time I buy all kinds of vegetables and fruits, plus some daily necessities. Before leaving, I ask a staff member to go to the warehouse and bring me 35 jugs of drinking water. At the checkout area, all the purchased supplies have been scanned. I swipe my card to pay. Just then, a male manager politely says to me, "Miss, where should we deliver this? I'll have my staff help you take it there." I point outside and say, "There's a pink RV at the entrance. Thanks for your trouble." Soon several staff members start bustling around, loading things onto the RV. When everything is settled, I check the time on my phone. 1 hour left until the zombie outbreak. I stride into a pharmacy. No matter what it is, I sweep everything off the shelves. The clerk stands by, hesitating to speak. Finally, he can't help but say, "Miss, we have regulations. We can't sell this much medicine at once." I turn to look at him and say, "I'll pay you 10 times the price. I need it now. Can you sell it or not? If not, I'll ask somewhere else." The clerk's face is full of shock. His head nods uncontrollably. Yes, miss. Take whatever you want." I place several full medicine baskets on the glass counter, then pull out my phone and scan 500,000 directly. I tell the clerk to hurry up and bag them. The clerk looks at the few baskets of medicine. Even 100,000 wouldn't be needed. He immediately starts bagging them efficiently. Coming out of the pharmacy, I go to the clothing store next door and buy some clothes. Finally, I stop by the pet store to buy 50 pounds of cat food for Takshu, plus some deworming medicine. When I get back to the RV, it's already 11:58. I lock the doors, ready to face the apocalypse. Just then, a shrill scream echoes from outside the RV. I see a mutated male zombie on the street, lunging with its mouth wide open at a woman nearby. The woman convulses twice, and quickly goes still. In the blink of an eye, it drags its broken, bloody body toward another passerby. People on the street scatter in all directions, screaming nonstop. The whole city falls into chaos. I watch coldly through the window. In my past life, I was also one of those being chased by zombies. A young man bursts out of the supermarket and heads straight for the RV. I recognize him. He's the guy who helped me load the water earlier. He reaches the RV, pounding frantically on the door, hope flickering in his eyes. Inside the RV, I watch him through the window, expressionless. I don't budge. The young man looks incredulous. He can't understand why I won't help. Soon several zombies rush at him from behind, their sharp teeth greedily gnawing at his body. I turn away, trying to avoid the bloody scene. In the apocalypse, morality and kindness only get you killed faster. I hold Takshu in my arms. This life, the ones I care about are already by my side. The lives of others are none of my concern. Outside the RV, the young man's eyes turn gray. He's already become a zombie. He instinctively keeps pounding on the door, banging it loudly. The noise is getting on my nerves. I quickly go to the compartment, pull out a spirit shovel, then open the window, lean out, and swing the shovel with all my strength at the zombie. With a squelch, the zombie's head falls to the ground. I pull the spirit shovel back, about to go to the bathroom to rinse off the blood. Suddenly, a mechanical voice rings in my mind. Ding dong. RV. System bound. Killed 1 zombie. Newbie reward. RV permanently immune to all damage. Task. Submit 1. Crystal core to expand 1 cubic meter of space. My eyes widen in shock. No wonder Meng Shiwan and her crew lived so well last time. So they got the RV system right in front of me. A virtual cross-section of the RV interior appears, showing which areas can be expanded. I'm stunned, because every storage space can be expanded. From now on, I'll be able to collect tons and tons of supplies. This is basically a walking resource depot. But when I think about the conditions for expansion, I can't quite smile anymore. 1 crystal core expands only 1 cubic meter. In the early apocalypse, killing 100 zombies won't necessarily drop a single crystal core. But then again, every extra cubic meter I expand means more supplies. For me, that's 1 more layer of security. The top priority is to get crystal cores. As time goes by, more and more zombies fill the streets. Some are drawn by the smell of blood. They slam into the RV, trying to pull me out and eat me. But this time I didn't hear a thing. As long as the windows are shut, the inside is completely quiet. I got excited. Immune to all damage? Is it really that powerful? It can even block out noise. Does that mean my RV is indestructible? Practically a perfect fortress. Thinking of that, my mood lifted, and I hummed a little tune as I went to the bathroom to rinse the blood off the spirit shovel. Takshu, on the other hand, was crouching on the coffee table, head tilted, staring at me with wide, innocent eyes. Coming out of the bathroom, I patted his head and said, "After we eat, we'll go out and kill zombies." Takshu shook his head in disdain, a little annoyed, whining and grumbling. Woo-woo, that sound is so cute. I walked to the cabinet and boiled a few for Takshu, the fresh big prawns I just bought at the supermarket. Takshu saw the food and immediately jumped over, eyes round and wide, face full of longing. As for me, I started munching on fried chicken and sipping beer. My happiness was through the roof. Beside me, Takshu, who hadn't gotten his treat yet, protested. 5 minutes later, I scooped the boiled prawns out and put them in front of Takshu. Takshu went and started eating, purring with happiness. I sat on the sofa, a bite of roasted lamb, a sip of beer, a bite of fried chicken cutlet, a gulp of iced drink, totally relaxed. Outside the RV, crowds of people were fleeing in panic. They all wore the same uniform, probably co-workers from the same office. At that moment, someone with sharp eyes peered through the window and saw the scene inside the RV. He was so shocked his eyes almost popped out. The apocalypse. And yet someone could calmly sit inside an RV, watching TV, drinking beer, and devouring skewers? Then he had a bright idea. He shouted, "The car. Let's hide in the car." The group immediately ran toward the roadside parking lot. But before they could get there, they saw a zombie in a suit in the distance, punching through a car window with 1 blow and biting the driver's head. Their hearts trembled. The car isn't safe either. What are we supposed to do? Hiding in the car won't work. We need to hide in a building. Zombies can't get in. One of them shouted. They ran toward the mall again. When they passed the RV, they saw me already devouring crawfish. They couldn't help but wonder, was I in a different world from them? After eating and drinking my fill, I noticed there were no zombies around the RV. Normally, zombies rely on human scent and movement to locate and attack. Could the RV also block scent? Skeptical, I opened the window next to the sofa. Instantly, a zombie whipped its head around with a whoosh and lurched toward me stiffly. Startled, I quickly shut the window. The zombie seemed to lose its target, confused for a moment, then continued hunting for other prey. I got it. Closing the doors and windows blocks my scent. Once opened, I'd still be detected by zombies. It was a little after 2 p.m. People, those who could hide had already hidden. Those who didn't make it had become zombies. I roughly estimated several hundred zombies on the streets, and many more roaming inside the mall. If I killed them all, with luck, I might get a few crystal cores. Just now, the system notified me that my RV is permanently immune to all damage. So it should be immune to collision damage too. Thinking that, I felt a surge of excitement. Since I can't kill them all one by one, I'll just run them over. I went to the driver's seat, started the engine, and the next second, I floored it. I charged straight at the zombies. But I wasn't stupid enough to head into a huge crowd. Instead, I drove along the edges, picking off lone zombies. As long as I crushed their heads, the zombies would be permanently dead. Under the wheels, the wide street turned into a bloody mess. Some people hiding saw the scene through their windows and felt their scalps tingle. Where did this badass come from? Toying with zombies like they're monkeys. This RV is freaking amazing. After all that ramming, not a single dent. At the same time, the zombies inside the mall heard the commotion and flooded onto the street. I wasn't afraid at all. I drove the RV, fiercely counterattacking wave after wave of zombies. 20 minutes later, the street was covered in bloody tire tracks and all kinds of zombie remains. Seeing that the zombies around had basically been wiped out, I slowly brought the RV to a stop. Then I picked up the spirit shovel and opened the door. That's right, I was going out to find crystal cores. Gripping the spirit shovel, I walked down the blood-soaked street. Not far away, half-dead zombies were still squirming. I split their heads open like watermelons. If there was no crystal core, I moved on immediately. A person hiding upstairs was already horrified by the scene, and watching me work made it even worse. It's a girl. Her moves are so brutal. How can she be so calm? I focused on searching for crystal cores. Whenever a zombie charged at me, I swung the spirit shovel and smashed its head. The killing moves were already etched into my bones. As long as it's not a zombie horde, lone zombies like these pose no threat. After a thorough search, I found a total of 7 crystal cores. Not a bad haul. Back inside the RV, I couldn't wait to check the expansion space. With a thought, the RV's schematic slowly appeared. The storage space was clear at a glance. But the problem was how to allocate these 7 cores. The weather would gradually enter extreme heat, so food and water were the most important. Medicine was also essential. By then, the RV's air conditioner would be running non-stop, and we couldn't run out of gas for the generator. After careful consideration, I decided to first expand the medicine cabinet by 1 cubic meter. I tapped the expand label on the schematic. Instantly, a page popped up to select the amount. 1 crystal core expands 1 cubic meter. Please make your choice. I firmly selected the number and tapped confirm. Then the mechanical voice sounded again. Congratulations. Expanded by 1 cubic meter. All storage spaces now have permanent freshness preservation. I was stunned. It meant things would never spoil no matter how long they stayed. This function was ridiculously OP. I immediately looked at the medicine cabinet, but didn't see any change. I walked over, opened the cabinet door. It was stuffed with medicines. Nothing unusual. I was puzzled. I immediately asked the system, where's my expansion space? In the blink of an eye, a 3-dimensional space appeared out of nowhere beside the medicine cabinet. Very sci-fi. I put the medicine in with some doubt. Then I suddenly realized the medicine in my space could be arranged and taken out by thought. Excited, I put the remaining crystals, 2 water tank expansions, 4 fridge expansions. All done. I went to the driver's seat, started the vehicle. Target, find a pharmacy. 10 minutes later, a pharmacy came into view. The door was open, no zombies around. I parked the RV flush against the door, creating an enclosed space to keep zombies out. Then I grabbed the spirit shovel and walked into the pharmacy. Only after confirming there were no zombies inside did I relax. I picked up a basket and went to the shelf marked common medicines. No time to check. I quickly loaded up. Meanwhile, Takshu jumped out of the RV, probably bored, meowing away. I patted his head, told him I'd be done soon. Takshu rubbed against my arm, round eyes, blinking, looking really cute. After filling 2 baskets with medicine, I decided to go back to the RV first and check how much space was left. So I called Takshu, motioned for him to follow. Takshu tilted his head, as if he understood, and trotted after me. He jumped into the RV. I stuffed the medicine into the space, added to what I already had. I'd only used half the space, so I went back and grabbed some non-perishables and immune-boosting meds, back and forth like that several times, until I finally filled the cabinet. I checked the time. 2 hours had passed, but I wasn't tired at all. During that time, I noticed the pharmacy's neighbor was a high-end outdoor gear store. I parked the RV in front of the store. The roll-up door was locked from inside. Likely someone was alive in there. I didn't want to miss any chance to collect gear, so I got out, walked to the door, knocked hard a few times. I'll take some stuff as payment and give you a few survival tips. The man hiding inside was Wei Yi. The loud knocking almost scared him half to death, but after hearing my words, he was tempted. After a moment's thought, he pulled up the roll-up door. I strode inside, glanced around, then I said, first tip, don't open the door to just anyone. The person you let in might get you killed. Wei Yi stood there stunned, his expression mixed and confused. Before he could speak, I asked, got any cold weather clothing? Wei Yi nodded, pulled a heavy winter coat from the shelf. When he handed it to me, I didn't reach out to take it. Instead, I told him to put it on the floor and step back. Wei Yi was confused, but he did it. I crouched down to examine it, confirmed it was fine, then said, get another one. I'll transfer the money later. Wei Yi didn't say anything, hurried toward the stockroom. At that moment I sighed inwardly. Most people still hadn't realized how brutal the apocalypse would be. Otherwise, this man's first thought would have been, how to kill me and take my RV. Soon he placed the second coat on the floor. Then he asked impatiently, what's the second tip? Second tip, find a place with plenty of food and wait patiently for rescue. Wei Yi frowned. This disaster will last a long time, won't it? I didn't answer his question directly, because in my last life, right up to my death, I never saw the day the disaster ended. I put the 2 coats on the passenger seat first, then grabbed some raincoats, hiking shoes, windbreakers, windproof pants, everyday items. I didn't stop until the storage compartment under the sofa was completely full. When I was done, I took out my phone and transferred 100,000 yuan to Wei Yi, and gave him the third tip, don't trust anyone. Don't show kindness. If you want to survive, you have to throw away your morals. Wei Yi stared at my retreating back, lost in thought. Then he clenched his fists and hurried after me. Hearing footsteps behind me, I immediately turned around and pulled out the dagger strapped to my waist. Wei Yi froze on the spot, then put on a pleading expression. Please take me with you. I can help you carry things. Fight zombies. I could see his sincerity and the will to survive hidden in his eyes. But this was the apocalypse. Rather than gamble on whether he'd betray me, it was better to cut off all possibility from the start. I quickly jumped into the RV, slammed the door shut. Then I floored the gas and drove off. Through the rearview mirror, I saw the hope on Wei Yi's face turn into hatred. His fists clenched again. It was getting dark, but I still needed to go to the supermarket and stock up more supplies. I parked the RV at the entrance of the supermarket's delivery and unloading area, observed the surroundings, confirmed it was safe. Then I picked up the spirit shovel and prepared to get out. Just then, Takshu perked up his tail and sauntered over slowly, as if saying he wanted to come with me. I picked up Takshu, placed him on the sofa, patted his head, and said, wait for me nicely. It's dangerous outside. Takshu meowed, blinked his big eyes, tilted his little head, and lay down. As I walked into the passage, I saw a delivery truck parked nearby, full of instant noodles and snacks. Not far away, boxes of fruit were stacked on the ground, probably not yet taken to the warehouse. I gripped the spirit shovel tightly, walking while staying alert for any sound around me, in case a zombie lunged from a corner. This time the goal was clear. Meat, grains, seasonings, and purified water. I needed to stock up on all of them. Good. A terrifying roar came from the corner ahead. Soon, a male zombie in a supermarket uniform lunged at me. I dodged sideways, then swung the spirit shovel hard, chopping into the zombie's head. With a thud, the zombie crashed heavily to the ground, and then lay still. But the commotion attracted the attention of other zombies in the supermarket. Dozens of zombies converged on me at once. I clutched the spirit shovel. No fear of the zombies in my heart, only craving for their crystals. I walked over to the shelves, looked at them. If I could block the passage with 2 shelves, leaving only a gap in the middle, then I could kill them one by one as they came through. Much easier and safer than fighting dozens at once. But the shelves were stocked with liquor. Very heavy. I gave them a tug. Couldn't budge them. I'll help you. Suddenly a girl appeared beside me. It was Lin Xian, the server who helped me load up last time. I'm not taking you with me. I shook the shelf hard, spilling liquor all over the floor. Then I put my strength into it, dragged the shelf toward the passage entrance. 3 years into the apocalypse, I'd seen every kind of human nature. I could see right through what this girl was thinking. I've seen all kinds of human nature. I can see through what this young lady is thinking at a glance. Lin Xian's eyes were filled with tears. She held onto the shelf. The zombies were getting closer. She trembled with fear. All she could do was hope I'd change my mind. We quickly positioned the shelves, blocking the aisle until only a 1-meter gap remained. Dozens of zombies lunged forward, necks stiff. They nearly knocked the shelves over. Lin Xian stumbled back in terror, shaking. But her eyes kept glancing at the RV outside the aisle. Certain thoughts were churning in her mind. I stood guard at the gap. One zombie emerged. I killed it. I checked each one for a crystal core. During it all, I glanced at Lin Xian. I had already seen through her little scheme. Without turning around, I said, "You can't drive the RV away. Zombies are everywhere outside. If you want to live, find a place to stock up on food and water, and wait for rescue." Lin Xian watched me chop zombies like slicing watermelons. She knew I wasn't someone to mess with, so she dropped that idea. 20 minutes later, I fished a clear crystal core out of the pile of corpses. Only one, but better than none. Lin Xian, covered in bloodstains, looked at me smiling. The scene felt both horrifying and terrifying. She had only one thought now. Get out of here as fast as possible. Otherwise, it wouldn't end well. Lin Xian listened to me. She found an office inside the supermarket and frantically moved supplies in. It was a good thing she didn't hide in the warehouse, because the warehouse supplies would become a target for many. At the same time, I had already entered the supermarket and taken out 3 lone zombies. Then I locked all the other exits to keep zombies from other areas from barging in. After doing all that, I grabbed a shopping cart. Top priority, start collecting supplies immediately. I headed to the deli section first. Marinated meats and fried snacks are my favorites. I loaded up a full cart right away. I pushed the cart back. As I entered the aisle, I saw several men in supermarket uniforms banging on the side door of my RV. Takshu, through the door glass, was hissing at them for bristling. The wrench in one man's hand was bent from the beating. The RV door still hadn't budged. He was furious. He slammed the handle hard a few times, but didn't even chip the paint. Another man was even more frustrated. He hit the glass several times, not a single scratch left. They all looked stunned. Even if this RV was made of steel plates, it should have left dents, yet it was completely unharmed. Then someone said, "I'll go find a cutter." I refused to believe this. I won't believe this nonsense. As he turned around, he saw me pushing the shopping cart, standing not far away, staring at them coldly. The man forced calm and asked, "You're the owner? A young girl alone outside is dangerous. Take us with you. We'll protect you." The others, seeing I was just a girl, also breathed a sigh of relief. Just one girl. The RV was as good as ours. I let out a cold laugh. I said to them, "Get away from my RV now, or you'll face the consequences." At that moment, a man in a security uniform pointed at the cart behind me. "Did you pay for that stuff? I suspect you've stolen supermarket goods. You'd better open the RV door right now. Let us check." The man looked smug, as if this line would trap me. Sarcasm flashed in my eyes. Stupid and greedy. The next second, the sharp edge of the spirit shovel sliced open the man's throat. Red liquid gushed out. He fell to the ground with a thud. He killed someone. He actually killed someone. The others stumbled back in terror. They all ignored. Killing one person, what's the big deal? If you don't scram, stay here and keep him company. Hearing that, they all shuddered. They turned and ran back into the supermarket, watching them flee in panic. I sighed quietly. By now, I had cleared the zombies inside the supermarket, and there was food and drink. Nothing was missing. If they'd just wait safely for a rescue team to find this place, they could be taken to a base. They clearly could have lived, but they just had to jump in front of me and die. I opened the rear doors, carried all the supplies from the cart into the RV. After everything was done, I got into the RV, closed the door, and locked it from inside. Takshu jumped into my arms, looking aggrieved, rubbing her head against me. I patted her head, comforting her. "I'm here. No one can hurt you." Then I took out a big chicken leg from the bag, put it in her bowl. Takshu caught the scent, licked her lips, and started eating contentedly. I opened the refrigerator's freezer. First, I put the fruits and vegetables inside into the expanded space. Then I filled the rest with items from the cart. Then I pushed everything into the space with my mind. At that moment, I noticed all that stuff, after being stored, only took up a corner of the space. I didn't expect 1 cubic meter could hold so much. I did a rough calculation. To fill it up, I need another 5 or 6 trips. So, I thought of the hand pallet truck in the aisle for unloading. That thing could carry a lot. Just as I was about to get out of the RV, I felt a tug at my pant leg. I turned to look. Takshu was wagging her tail, staring at me blankly, biting my clothes and refusing to let go. I chuckled and said, "I'm going to gather supplies. so we can survive better later. Taksha whined. Still wouldn't let go. Seeing that, I crouched down and asked her, you want to come with me? Taksha blinked, then jumped right into my arms. Back in the aisle, I found some plastic bins and stacked them on the pallet truck. Then with Taksha in tow, I pulled the truck into the supermarket. The survivors inside saw me with fear on their faces. They all hid away. Word of what happened outside had clearly spread. I couldn't be bothered with them. Stockpiling supplies was what I needed to do. I went straight to the deli section again. Packed up all sorts of marinated meats. Also loaded up a lot of cold dishes. I couldn't miss the fried dough sticks, pancakes, sushi, and zongzi from the next stall either. I took a bit of everything. Taksha sat on the pallet truck, watching me, not running off. Very well behaved and obedient. When I passed the dessert section, I stopped. Delicate, beautiful cakes. Just looking at them was tempting. Take them all. I absolutely wouldn't shortchange myself. After clearing out the dessert section, I pulled the fully loaded truck back to the RV. By then, next to the security guard's corpse, 2 zombies were eagerly devouring his organs. The smell of blood must have drawn them. Hearing the noise, the zombies snapped their heads up. With blood-drenched mouths wide open, they lunged at me. I grabbed the spirit shovel and neatly split the heads of both zombies. Movement clean and quick. Back in the RV, I continued stuffing things into the fridge, but the repetitive motions annoyed me. If only I had spatial powers, I could just store everything directly into the space. No need for all this hassle. Carrying onto the RV, then putting into the fridge. I only sighed briefly. Compared to my previous life, I'm already very lucky now. Soon enough, all the cooked food was stuffed inside, filled exactly 1 cubic meter, nicely. After filling 1 cube, there was still some left. I put it on the counter to eat slowly later. Then I pulled up the RV's internal diagram, used the crystal cores I'd just found to upgrade the second floor by 1 cubic meter of space. Next, I kept shuttling between the supermarket and the RV, carrying nonstop, hoarding nonstop. Taksha followed me, but couldn't really help. His main job was just keeping me company. The survivors in the supermarket noticed I could come and go freely. Totally safe. They all ran out to scavenge food, but they kept their distance from me, probably scared I'd take their heads off with one swing of my shovel. A few women gathered together, muttering quietly. She's been hauling stuff for hours. Can the RV even hold all that? I figure the RV must be packed to the brim. Probably no place to even set foot. By the time I finished, it was already early morning. Looking at the fully stocked RV, I felt a rare sense of calm and satisfaction. In the 1 cubic meter expanded space on the second floor was packed full of rice. A full 1,600 gene. Even at 1 gene a day, that's over 4 years worth. Pure security. The rest of the second floor space held 500 gene of flour and 50 jugs of cooking oil, plus all kinds of seasonings. The fridge's 4 cubic meter expansion, besides 1 cube of cooked food and 1 cube of desserts, also held 1 cube of meat and 1 cube of seafood. Altogether, nearly 4,000 gene. The expanded 2 cubic meter water tank I also filled with bottled water. And of course, I stocked up on drinks too. Next to the counter were all my favorite little sodas. At that moment, I wasn't the least bit sleepy. Instead, I happily started eating hot pot. The small pot on the induction cooker bubbled away. Meat slices and meatballs tumbled in the spicy broth. It looked incredibly tempting. Around me were greens and meat slices for the hot pot, and a 6-inch fruit cake. I took a sip of the frosty soda, and an instant wave of satisfaction washed over me. In Taksha's bowl beside me was piled with fish and shrimp. He didn't even lift his head as he ate, looking like he was enjoying it immensely. Seeing all this, I felt a strange mix of dreaminess and melancholy. The hunger and pain of the apocalypse were still fresh in my memory. Yet now I sat surrounded by years' worth of food, and my beloved Taksha by my side. 1 mouthful of lamb hot pot, 1 sip of green plum wine, 1 bite of cake. I never thought happiness could be so simple and pure. After eating and drinking my fill, I patted my belly contentedly, washed the dishes and took out the trash, then took a nice, hot shower before bed. I changed into my fleece pajamas, flipped onto the bed, and laid down in the soft covers. I lifted a corner of the blanket and called, "Baby, come sleep." Taksha jumped onto the bed and obediently burrowed inside, his little head peeking out, utterly adorable. I held Taksha in the soft blankets, just me and my cat, and soon drifted off to sleep. When I opened my eyes again, it was already noon. I was woken up by Taksha. He was lying on my chest, crushing me. I could barely breathe. I pushed Taksha off me, turned over, and tried to sleep more. Seeing this, Taksha panicked. He really needed to poop, but I hadn't set up a litter box for him. Taksha saw I was about to fall asleep, so he had a bright idea. He turned around and aimed his butt right at my face, and let out a huge, stinky fart with a pft. Right before the zombie outbreak, I, 1 person and 1 cat, hid inside my customized RV. The RV had all the supplies I'd stored in advance. This life, I'm going to make it to the end credits. Taksha, what did you eat? Why is your fart so stinky? I scooped up Taksha and rushed into the bathroom, and set him on the toilet seat. Taksha, knowing he was in trouble, didn't dare resist. Clumsily, he balanced on the toilet rim and did his business. Meanwhile, I quickly finished washing up, planning to go to the supermarket to find some breakfast. As soon as I stepped into the corridor, I noticed the snacks and fruit that were there yesterday were all gone, probably taken by the survivors. I didn't care and kept walking inside. But what I didn't expect was that the supermarket entrance had been blocked with shelves and wooden planks. I laughed in anger. I helped them clear the zombie threat, and they locked me out? What a bunch of ingrates. Just you wait, I'll deal with you. I found a bunch of cardboard boxes near the supermarket entrance, and some scrap wood. I piled them up at the corridor opening. Then I got a bucket of gasoline and poured it over. I let out a cold laugh, and tossed my windproof lighter straight onto the pile. Whoosh! The flames caught instantly. The fire spread through the corridor like a tidal wave. At that moment, the survivors inside the supermarket saw the flames and froze for a second. What are you standing there for? Put it out. That corridor has alcohol. If it catches fire, none of us are making it out. The dozens of survivors inside immediately panicked, scrambling for fire extinguishers. The corridor already had the broken bottles I'd smashed earlier. Thick black smoke billowed everywhere. Lin Xian stood in a corner near the edge of the supermarket, watching these people frantically putting out the fire, and cursed them inwardly, a bunch of idiots. They knew that person was trouble, so why mess with her? Just asking for trouble. Luckily, the supermarket had good fire safety equipment. With everyone working together, they finally managed to put out the fire. A group of them, faces grimy, sat on the floor gasping for air. Someone complained, muttering, I said last night we shouldn't mess with that woman. She's a killer, a psycho. The stuff in the supermarket. So what if she takes some? Doesn't affect us at all. Shut up. She dared to kill old Wang. She'll dare to kill us. When that happens, you'll regret it. I agree, this woman is ruthless. We'd better find a way to drive her away fast. Under the instigation of Supervisor Zhang Chong, a dozen or so young, strong men quickly gathered. Just then, heavy rain started pouring from the sky. I stood outside the corridor in a black one-piece raincoat. Soon Zhang Chong led the group to the corridor entrance. They were holding weapons. Seeing me again, many of them couldn't help but shiver. Zhang Chong rolled up his sleeves and shouted, everyone charge. The moment they moved, the dozen survivors all rushed at me. But before they could even strike, my sharp work shovel was already smashing into them. In just a moment, I had knocked all of them to the ground. The air filled with groans of pain. 3 years of apocalypse training had made me much stronger. These people were no match for me. I crouched down beside Zhang Chong, staring at him with an icy expression. You said you were going to catch me? Catch me and do what? Beg, believe me, or beat me to death. I was wrong. I shouldn't have locked you out. I just wanted you to go somewhere else. Please, let me go. I laughed coldly. Scared now? Where was this earlier? Then I found a rope and tied Zhang Chong's hands and feet tightly. Following the escalator on the west side of the supermarket, I dragged Zhang Chong up to the second floor. Zhang Chong's face was full of terror, having no idea what I was going to do to him next. I dragged over a shelf, placed it right in front of the stairway, then tied Zhang Chong to the shelf, facing the stairs. What are you doing? What are you going to do? Let me go. Zhang Chong's heart was filled with fear. I ignored him. Instead, I grabbed a few shelves and cabinets, blocking the narrow stairway entrance completely. Then I found a shopping cart and headed straight for the tool room without looking back. When I came out, the cart was piled full of tools. Zhang Chong, tied tightly to the shelf, was on the verge of tears. That kind of blank terror is the most chilling. I walked up to Zhang Chong, picked up a small jigsaw from the cart. There were also 2 lumber chainsaws in the cart, good for cutting wood and boards. Seeing that, Zhang Chong's whole body started shaking uncontrollably, begging for mercy over and over again. I silently rolled my eyes, picked up the chainsaw, and walked toward the shelf at the stairway entrance. A loud roar erupted beside me, the screeching sound of teeth against metal, sharp and piercing, enough to drive anyone crazy. Zhang Chong seemed to guess what I was going to do, and completely lost it. With all that noise, the zombies upstairs would definitely hear it. Once they bust through the cabinet, he'd be torn apart by the zombies. I cut a hole in the shelf, just big enough for one person to pass through. After I broke through the last shelf, the escalator was packed with zombies, all drawn by the commotion. I quickly pulled back, grabbed a bigger lumber chainsaw, and tied it firmly to the shelf with a rope. At about 1.5 meters high, a zombie rushed through the hole, and as it passed the chainsaw, its entire head was cut off, blood spraying everywhere, splashing all over Zhang Chong's face. He had already figured out that this woman was using him as bait. The zombies, drawn by the smell of blood, would keep coming endlessly, one after another, walking to their deaths. A simple trap made killing zombies a lot easier. These were all lessons I learned in my past life. Now I just needed to wait a while and clear out the dead zombies blocking the hole. Zhang Chong's terrified screams and the buzz of the saw echoed through the supermarket. Other survivors heard the noise and came running to see what was going on. Their faces went white with fear. Piles of zombie limbs were stacked at the hole. Blood splattered everywhere. A truly horrifying scene. I got up and walked to the shelf, tossing aside the broken limbs blocking the hole. When Zhang Chong saw me coming, he stopped screaming immediately. He was about to beg me again, when he saw me pull a zombie head out of the pile of limbs, hold it in my arms, and then slam it hard onto the ground. The round skull split in 2 instantly. Right before the zombie outbreak, I hid with my cat Takshu in a heavily modified RV, stocked with a ton of supplies I'd stored in advance. This life, I'm going to make it to the end credits. Zhang Chong stared at me in utter horror, having no idea why I was doing this. Then I smashed open another dozen or so heads, but not a single crystal core appeared. Meanwhile, in a claw machine shop on the second floor across the street, 2 men and 2 women were peeking through the gaps in the blinds, secretly watching the outside. The girl with the bun whispered, "What's going on over there?" The sound of a chainsaw mixed with screams. "It's creepy." The bespectacled guy frowned, thinking, "Whatever it is, let's go check it out. Maybe we can cover you to gather some supplies." The other girl said excitedly, "With you, the chosen one. Even in the apocalypse, we can survive just fine." The bun-haired girl, called the chosen one, was Su Yuning. They were originally out shopping with their respective boyfriends. When the zombie outbreak hit, realizing something was wrong, they immediately hid in a claw machine shop and managed to escape. At the same time, Su Yuning discovered that she could freely enter and exit, a space no one else could see. She then realized she had awakened a rare space-type ability among the apocalypse's special abilities. Right now, she was in a resource-rich mall, and she was ambitious, determined to make a big move. The four of them quietly crept downstairs, stepped onto the street, and looked around. It was eerily quiet, aside from 2 or 3 zombie bodies on the ground. After circling around, they didn't see a single living thing. They cautiously moved toward the supermarket. When passing a corpse outside the supermarket, Su Yuning's boyfriend Lin Hao suddenly gasped, stopping in his tracks. The other 3 were startled and looked at him in confusion. Lin Hao crouched down and carefully examined the corpse's neck. He said, "This man isn't a zombie. He was killed by a sharp blade to the throat." Zhao Yu, the other guy in the group, widened his eyes. Was he murdered by a human? It's only been a few days into the apocalypse. Murder still felt terrifying to them. Lin Hao said cautiously, "The fact that one of us awakened a space ability must never be revealed to anyone else. Su Yuning's ability could only store goods, not attack. If discovered, someone would definitely try to take her for themselves. Controlling Su Yuning meant controlling the space. This had to be kept secret." The other 3 nodded solemnly, all realizing the gravity of the situation. Lin Hao and his group followed the burnt passageway inward, and soon reached the supermarket entrance. Taking advantage of no one watching, they slipped inside quietly. Seeing the supermarket full of supplies, they were thrilled. But they couldn't act yet. They had to wait until nightfall when everyone was asleep. They hid in a place with no people and ate something, filling their stomachs. Then, on Lin Hao's suggestion, they slowly walked toward the direction of the chainsaw noise. When they reached the second floor, Su Yuning and Liang Yin immediately turned pale with fear, clinging tightly to each other. The 2 guys didn't look much better. Their lips white, their bodies stiff. Not far away, zombie corpses were piled up like a small mountain, shattered heads everywhere. Beside them was a woman in a black raincoat, rummaging through the heads. The chainsaw at the hole was still buzzing. Zombies kept charging out of the hole, getting cut into 3 pieces. The man tied at the hole, whether dead or alive, had gone still. Su Yuning said hoarsely, "I imagined maybe a human was using a chainsaw to fight zombies. But I never expected this scene. It was too terrifying, too bloody." Lin Hao's eyes were filled with shock. "A zombie trap. This is actually a trap for zombies." Then, he said gravely, "We need to be wary of that woman. She'll become our biggest threat later." After working all day long, I only found 3 crystal cores. Not great luck. So I decided to find the warehouse first, get some food for Takshu and myself to fill our stomachs. I walked over to Zhang Chong, cut the ropes binding him with a knife, and said, "That's enough for today. Go get some rest. We'll continue tomorrow." Zhang Chong collapsed to the ground with a thud. He only had one thought now. Get the hell out of this place. Lin Hao and his group, watching secretly, hid in the bedding section on the second floor. Seeing me leave, Lin Hao whispered instructions to the other 3. At around 2 or 3 in the morning, "Zhao Yu, you pull the power switch. Liang Yin and I will coordinate with Yuning to collect supplies. Restore power in 10 minutes. Come back here. Power will be restored in 10 minutes. Come back here. No one will ever know it was us." On the other side, I followed the signs inside the supermarket and quickly found the warehouse. The warehouse was huge. Looking around, the shelves were stocked with all kinds of daily necessities. Further inside was a cold storage room, stocked with all sorts of vegetables, fruits, and meat. I grabbed a handcart. I took some of every fruit and vegetable I'd seen and hadn't seen. I grabbed a bit of everything. Before leaving, I swung by the freezer in the cold storage and loaded up on my favorite ice cream. After filling both carts, I pulled them back, completely satisfied. Back at the RV, I first gave Takshu some cat food. Takshu was starving, wolfing it down, too busy to even look at me. I pulled out the 3 crystals I collected today, used them all to expand the fridge space. Then, I put all the supplies I'd brought back into the expanded space one by one. Fruits and vegetables each took up 1 cubic meter. The ice cream only took up a small corner. Seeing the remaining space not fully stocked, my OCD was about to kick in, so I decided to take the cart and check out the snack street next door. Right before the zombie outbreak, I, 1 person and 1 cat, hid inside a meticulously modified RV. The RV was packed with the supplies I'd stored in advance. This life, I'm going to make it to the end credits. It was already very late. Looking up, I could see stars twinkling in the night sky. Lights flickered on and off in the shops on both sides. On the road lay scattered zombie corpses here and there. I pulled the cart straight to the milk tea shop. In my past life, I craved this so badly. I walked into a random one, found the warehouse, and hauled out all the raw ingredients stored inside. As long as I have enough raw ingredients, I can make whatever drink I want later on. Then I swung by the restaurant next door, grabbed a box of chicken feet and crab hot pot meal kit from the back kitchen to have as tonight's late night snack. Nowadays, many chain restaurants use pre-made meal kits. To keep their recipes secret, you just need to heat it up. People always say meal kits are unhealthy. Soon, there won't even be meal kits to eat. I pulled the cart back to the RV. I put all the bags of milk tea ingredients into the fridge space until it was completely stuffed full. Only then was I satisfied. This is my greatest joy right now. I went to the kitchen, took out a wok, opened the meal kit, poured it in, and heated it up. I thought about it and decided to also have some iced watermelon tonight. I cut the watermelon I brought back this afternoon in half and put it in the fridge to chill. When the chicken feet and crab hot pot started bubbling, I turned off the heat and let it sit covered. I went and took a nice hot shower. After coming out of the bathroom, I stuffed the dirty clothes into the washing machine. Then I dried my hair. Everything done. Time to eat. I took out my phone and started a movie. It was a super healing countryside food movie. I first took a big spoonful of the iced watermelon. Ice cold and super refreshing. Taksha came over wanting a couple of bites, but I pushed his head away. The watermelon is too cold. Cold stomach. Meal kits are all chemicals. You can't eat it. Takshu tilted his head, looking like I was bullying a little kitten. Good thing he was already full. He found a corner of the sofa to curl up and sleep. The meal kit might not be healthy, but it's delicious. The chicken feet were soft and sticky, and the crab meat was also salty. In the dead silence of the night, I ate and watched the movie. By the time I was full, washed the dishes, and went to sleep, it was already past 1 a.m. I brushed my teeth and got into bed, hugged Takshu, and fell asleep the moment my head hit the pillow. Today was too tiring. Tomorrow I'm definitely sleeping in. Sleep until the afternoon. But just as dawn was breaking, the RV's surveillance alarm went off, waking me up from a sound sleep. I grabbed my phone and looked. It was only just past 6 a.m. Who the hell is disturbing my sleep? They'd better have a good reason, or I'll make their life hell. The RV has 360-degree cameras installed all around. If someone just passes by, the alarm doesn't go off. Only if someone lingers near the RV for more than 5 minutes, or makes an aggressive move toward the RV, and the owner is asleep and doesn't notice, then it sounds the alarm. This RV, I'd installed a ton of smart electronics in it back then. I opened the monitor to check. Holy crap. The RV was surrounded by a dense circle of people. I sort of recognized these people. They were the survivors from the supermarket yesterday. I rolled out of bed, opened the window on the door, and started cursing. Are you people crazy? Why are you gathered here at this hour, not sleeping? The aggressive crowd was stunned for a moment by my outburst. Then they got angry too. You thief, how dare you scold us? Where did you move all the supplies from the supermarket? You can't have taken all that stuff by yourself. You have to leave some for us, right? How can you be so self-righteous? I opened my mouth to curse back, then realized something was off. I asked coldly what's going on. The leading man shouted, don't play dumb. Last night, all the supplies in the supermarket were stolen. It must have been you. You'd better give it back, or else, everything's gone. Such a big supermarket. Not just one person, even if there were 10 more. It'd be impossible to clear it all out in one night. Without a sound. Unless there's a space ability user here. I got dressed, grabbed the spirit shovel, and headed straight for the supermarket. A group of survivors quickly followed behind, their faces full of anger, as if I didn't give them an explanation, they were ready to fight to the death. Inside the supermarket, the shelves that had been fully stocked were now so empty you couldn't even find a wrapper. The entire supermarket had been cleaned out, completely spotless. Only a space ability user could do this. I really didn't expect to run into such a rare ability user this early, and a space ability user at that. When the apocalypse came, zombies were everywhere, but ability users were extremely rare. In the base from my past life, out of hundreds of thousands of people, there were only a few thousand ability users. That shows how rare ability users are. Space ability users are even more of a treasure among ability users. They're the best assistants for transporting supplies. I looked around the circle and fixed my gaze on Zhang Chong. The surveillance? Zhang Chong hastily explained, panicked. The power went out for a while last night. We thought it was because the lines were unstable after the fire, so we didn't pay much attention. Then this morning, we found everything in the supermarket was gone. We went to check the surveillance and found the surveillance lines were damaged. It didn't capture anything after the power outage. Sure enough, someone cut the power to steal the supermarket supplies. That means the culprit has no combat ability. A space ability user only gains teleportation or spatial blades when they upgrade to mid or high rank and develop combat capabilities. But if they want to steal, fine. But pinning it on me, they're asking for death. I asked again, who said I stole it? It was him, Zhang Chong. Without hesitation, he pointed at a young man in the crowd. Lin Hao thought that he just needs to point the suspicion at this girl who is alone. Then the rest of them can perfectly hide. I studied Lin Hao and his group. What makes you say I stole the supplies? Any evidence? I observed everyone's expressions. The others all looked angry and terrified. Only the 4 of them showed anger on their faces, but their eyes were calm. The space ability user must be one of those 4. Lin Hao felt uncomfortable under my gaze, but at this moment, he absolutely couldn't show any weakness. If people found out they were the ones who stole the supplies, they would definitely come to a bad end. So he had to insist that this girl was the thief. Lin Hao said firmly, it was you who stole them. I got up last night and saw you going back to the supermarket to move supplies. I almost laughed in anger. What a pathetic excuse. I really gave them a chance to live, but they wasted it. Then don't blame me for being ruthless. The other survivors nearby heard this and were so scared their eyes nearly popped out. They were already silently mourning for that young guy. Why pick a fight with anyone, especially with her? If this sister really wanted to move the supermarket supplies, why would she need to steal? She could move them openly. Who could stop her? And besides, one person. How could they clear out all the supplies in one night without making a sound? Sure enough, the next second, my figure moved. I quickly closed in on the 4, right before the zombie outbreak. I, along with my cat, hid in my carefully modified RV. The RV was stocked with a large amount of supplies I had stored in advance. This life, I'm going to make it to the end credits. With a thud, the spirit shovel in my hand slashed through Su Yuning's throat. Lin Hao was splattered with blood. He looked at Su Yuning in terror. Su Yuning covered her gushing throat with both hands. Her mouth opened and closed, pouring out blood. Aren't I the chosen one? How could I die so easily? Lin Hao hugged Su Yuning and roared. Yuning, don't leave me. You won't die. You won't. The people in the supermarket saw this scene. Even though they were mentally prepared, they were still terrified, trembling in fear. We told them not to mess with her, but these few just had to court death. No one could stop them. She really kills people without a second word. If she can kill, she absolutely won't waste a single word. In Lin Hao's terrified eyes, Su Yuning unwillingly breathed her last. In an instant, the vanished supplies burst out from the void, piling up into a small mountain. Just now, Lin Hao subconsciously shielded that girl behind him, which revealed the flaw. With that kind of brain, he wants me to take the blame? He's practically asking for death. Back in the RV, I opened a frosty bottle of cola, gulped down a few mouthfuls, instantly felt much better. For now, this supermarket shelter is no longer safe to stay in. Besides the piles of zombies, the corpses will soon breed bacteria and viruses. I also need to watch out for that punk Lin Hao. He definitely won't let me off easily. After thinking it over, I opened my phone map to check. 10 kilometers from the supermarket, there's a farmer's market. This place looks good. I can find some seeds to try growing. If successful, I can put them in the expanded space and develop a farm. Taxi, let's go. As soon as said, done, I started the engine directly, slowly drove away from the mall. There weren't many zombies on the road. If any blocked the way, I just accelerated and rammed them. 20 minutes later, following the navigation guide, I arrived at the farmer's market. But as soon as I entered the entrance, I felt something was off. The road ahead was lined with dense rows of vehicles, crowding and blocking the road completely. Shit, it must be market day at the farmer's market. And it coincided with the zombie outbreak. When I realized this, I immediately turned around to leave. But it was too late. The sound of the engine attracted the zombies' attention. In a short while, zombies poured out from every corner, gathering densely around the RV. At least several hundred. I backed the RV up a few meters. After running over dozens of zombies, I couldn't move forward anymore. The RV is immune to all damage, but its power is limited. Facing such a dense crowd of zombies, I couldn't push through like a bulldozer. The zombies madly pounded on the RV, baring their teeth, their eyes gray, looking utterly terrifying. At that moment, I felt my scalp crawl. Oh no, I miscalculated. Takshu watched the commotion outside the window, her fur bristling, hissing. I calmed Takshu down, holding her in my arms. Since things have come to this, I'll eat an ice cream first to calm my nerves, then turn on the monitor and watch a funny variety show. After all, the zombies can't break into the RV. The agitation of the zombie horde caught the attention of survivors inside the farmer's market. On the 6th floor of a building, a man quietly poked his head out, observing the situation, then quietly pulled back in. Du Zitao slumped on the ground, whispering. The zombie horde is all surging toward the road. I don't know what's happening over there. The others in the room were full of fear, treading softly, afraid to make a sound. His mother spoke up. I think I just heard the sound of a vehicle driving. At this time, why? Would anyone come? His wife added. The internet says rescue teams have been formed, working hard to rescue survivors. Could it be the rescue team has arrived? Du Fu lit a cigarette. Given our situation here, even if the rescue team comes, they might not make it out. Tough. Their family ran a farm tool shop on the 1st floor of the market. That day, Du Fu was alone in the shop assisting customers. At 12 noon, a customer selecting tools suddenly stiffened, head twisted, gnashing teeth and lunging at him. Du Fu thought the guy had rabies. Scared out of his wits, he dropped everything and hurried home. Only when he got home did he learn that it was a zombie outbreak. Thankfully, the whole family survived intact. Inside the RV, I looked outside. The situation hadn't improved at all. I had to find a way to save myself. If I wait for the rescue team, I don't know how long it will take. I can't afford to wait. The RV is indeed stocked with plenty of food, enough to last years. But the problem is the fuel tank hasn't been expanded. The fuel storage is too small. If the RV's AC isn't on, it'll feel like a steam room inside. But if I run the AC all day, the solar panels on the roof definitely won't keep up. I'll need the gasoline generator for power, but the fuel inside won't last more than a few days. The only way out now is to fight my way out. Good thing I learned a lot in my previous life. I set the AC to the lowest temperature and made sure all windows and doors were sealed tight. Then I grabbed a few jugs of cooking oil and climbed out through the roof window. The zombies smelled the rich scent of fresh blood and flesh. Increasingly restless, they wish they could grow wings and fly up to eat me. Some are knocked to the ground. Other zombies climb over the fallen ones. If this keeps up, the RV will eventually be swamped by zombies. I stab the oil drum with a knife. Cooking oil gushes out instantly. I grab the handle and hurl the puncture drum out. It scatters into the zombie horde. Then I light a lighter and throw it. I quickly crawl back into the RV. Lower the roof. Boom. A raging fire erupts instantly, fueled by the oil. The fire grows fiercer. The entire zombie horde is engulfed in flames. Blood-curdling screams fill the air. I look out through the window. The whole RV is wrapped in orange-red flames. The vehicle's temperature keeps rising. I'm freaking out inside. System, you said the RV is immune to all damage. You'd better not have screwed me over. Don't let the tires melt. Don't let the battery explode. Don't let the AC stop. If anything goes wrong, right now this RV would become an oven among zombies. On the eve of the outbreak, I, one person and one cat, hid inside the meticulously customized RV. The RV has a huge stockpile of supplies I stored in advance. This life, I'm going to make it to the end credits. Half an hour later, everything inside the RV is normal. I finally relax. The TV is broadcasting live news. The authorities are trying to calm the public, reducing panic. According to my past life memories, this zombie outbreak didn't even spare the official military. Massive losses. Currently, the most effective rescue plan is for each city to organize its own people and clear out a safe base without zombies. There are two types of bases, official ones and private ones. Private bases are usually set up by wealthy conglomerates gathering ability users. They form them, no matter which type, under scarce supplies. You have to rely on your own skills to get a bite to eat. The fire raged until nightfall before burning out, but some spots still show red-hot embers. Probably too hot to touch. I decide to get a good night's sleep. I'll collect the crystals tomorrow. The next day, just after dawn, I wake up, confirm there are no zombies around. I open the door. greeted by black ash filling the sky and a thick burnt smell. The ground is covered with charred corpses. I change into the raincoat and mask I prepared earlier, grab the spirit shovel, and get ready to go out. Meow? Taksha stares at me with big round eyes. He wants to come with me. I pat his head and say, "It's too dirty outside. You stay home. Otherwise I'll have to give you a bath if you get dirty." At the mention of a bath, Taksha turns and leaves. He hates baths more than anything. The zombies are almost burnt to charcoal in the fire. Stepping on them makes a crisp cracking sound. I walk toward the edge. Black dust swirls in the air with my steps. Then I'm like a diligent melon farmer, swinging the spirit shovel at zombie heads again and again. There are at least 1,000 zombies densely packed here. I'm sure to get crystals. It just depends on how many. Du Zitao, who has been secretly watching from upstairs, feels a bit eager. Should we go down and look for crystals? I saw online that these crystals might be very useful. His wife Chen Manning quickly shakes her head. I'm not going. I'm afraid of getting infected. You shouldn't go either. We can skip the crystals, but we have to go down and bring up some food. It's announced online that the temperature is abnormally rising by 5 degrees Celsius per day. We don't know how long we'd have to wait for rescue. Taking this chance to stock up on supplies is most important. Everyone thinks Du Fu's words make sense, so they decide to grab weapons, go downstairs, and move grain and water. After a morning of hard work, I collected a total of 10 crystals. Pretty good luck. I can't wait to get back to the RV. I bring up the RV's cutaway diagram. To my amazement, my little fish tank can also be expanded. I eagerly use one crystal to expand the small fish tank space. Congratulations. Unlocked fish pond. Fish pond space. Normal time flow. Reward. Automatic water quality optimization and oxygenation. Aquatic plants thrive. Promotes ecological cycle. The fish pond is filled with water. The bottom has colorful stones. Some green water plants float in the water. I'm shocked, eyes wide. In the constant disasters of the apocalypse, the importance of sustainable output is self-evident. In my excitement, I tap on the plant pot expansion. Enter the quantity. I hit confirm. Congratulations. Unlocked farm. Farm space. Normal flow rate. Sunlight, nutrients, oxygen, and other environmental factors are normal. Soil stays moist. Instantly, I appear in a vast white space. Gentle sunlight pours down from above. Underfoot is moist black soil, only 1 square meter in size. Clearly this is a unique space. Next to it is a 1 square meter pool. That's the fish pond I just expanded. The fish pond and farm are actually merged. This really surprises me. I try to walk to the edge. I tentatively reach out and touch, but I'm blocked by an invisible wall. A system notification sounds. The farm can only take in farming-related items, and there's a limit per square meter. Can only be used for farming. Fish pond water and farm soil are only for use within the space. Cannot be taken out from inside. I use the remaining 8 crystals, all to upgrade the sofa cabinet space. The 8 cubic meters will all hold seeds. With the farm providing renewable resources, there's nothing better to hoard than directly hoarding seeds. I really can't spare time to eat. I start the engine and drive into the street of the agricultural market. The car stops a bit further down the street. The ground here is relatively clean. I pull a handcart and walk into a seed shop. The store is quite large. The goods inside are also very complete. Grain seeds, vegetable and fruit seeds, flower seeds, and some common medicinal herb seeds. I find some big boxes. No matter what seeds are on the shelves, take them all, load them directly into the car. And so, cart after cart, I tirelessly shuttle back and forth, happily, until the sofa cabinet space is completely full. Then I walk into a nearby agricultural supply store. Small hoes, sickles, small shovels, things like that. Grab some of each. Chen Manning, who's been watching my every move, gets excited. He's taking our farm tools. Hey, you little thief. In broad daylight, stealing my stuff right in front of me. Du Zitao beside her finds it both funny and frustrating. Just a few farm tools. They're not even valuable. Besides, we've taken plenty from other people too. Back in the RV, I'm exhausted. I plop down onto the sofa. Taksha jumps up and meows. His big round eyes are very cute. I hold him in my arms, gently stroking him. Taksha looks like he's enjoying it. Then a roar comes from the sky. I quickly look out the window. I see a military helicopter flying overhead, flying very low. The rotor's wind kicks up dust from the ground. I frown and mutter to myself. Looks like the official base has started taking action. I need to hurry up and start my plan. On the eve of the zombie outbreak, I, 1 person and 1 cat, hid inside the meticulously customized RV. The RV has a huge stockpile of supplies I stored in advance. This is it. I must survive to the end. The helicopter uses its loud noise to attract zombies to follow it. Lure the zombies to the outskirts and wipe them out. But the real challenge of this disaster isn't actually the zombies. It's the natural disasters, the coming extreme heat, where temperatures will rise to over 60 degrees Celsius. Heat stroke, heat exhaustion, power lines catching fire, nationwide internet blackout, all kinds of fires, big and small, burning through massive amounts of supplies. At that point, that's when humanity will truly be pushed to the edge. And what I need to do now is, before the extreme heat hits, hunt more zombies, gather enough crystal cores to expand my space, and stockpile supplies. How to hunt zombies quickly and efficiently became the key issue. My first step right now is to modify the RV, build a zombie harvesting machine with devastating power. Right away, the system pinged. Pay 50 crystal cores to upgrade the RV. Comes with automatic crystal core collection. 50 crystal cores? Are you a bandit? Wait, you said automatic crystal core collection? To be honest, I'm kind of tempted. If I can just drive the RV and auto-collect cores, that would seriously boost efficiency. But right now, I don't have that many cores. So I had a flash of inspiration and said to the system, put it on credit. After it's installed, I'll pay you back slowly with the cores I collect. A moment later, the prompt rang again, no problem. But there will be interest. Principal plus interest, you owe 200 crystal cores. Hearing that, I cursed the damn system in my heart. You're seriously shady as hell. I gritted my teeth and said, fine, 200 it is. Upgrade first, we'll talk later. The system will complete the RV upgrade overnight and won't disturb the host's rest. Please rest assured, host. After the deal was struck, I immediately felt a lot lighter, so I decided to check on the farm. Taksha came in for the first time. He tiptoed over to the fish pond and watched the fish swimming around. I, on the other hand, picked up a small shovel and started digging little holes. In this 1 square meter of land, I'm going to plant the tomatoes I love to eat. Taksha saw me busy working and came over to help. I dropped 2 seeds, and he'd cover them with his paws. 1 person, 1 cat. We worked together perfectly. In no time, the work was done. The soil was already at the right moisture for plants. I didn't even need to water. After finishing that, I picked up the dirty Takshu and planned to give us both a good bath afterward. But when we got back to the RV, both of us were spotless. Not a speck of dirt. I quickly figured out why. The system had said that soil and water from the space can't be taken out. So that's how it is. This is actually nice. Saves me having to shower and change clothes every time I'm done. After tidying up everything, I climbed into bed with Takshu in my arms and slept like a baby. Early the next morning, I couldn't wait to run out and check the RV's upgrade. I saw that at the rear bumper of the front vehicle, there were 2 extra rows of sharp blade rollers. At the same time, the system prompt sounded. The activation switch is in the driver's cab. The crystal core collection box is under the center console. I went back inside to check. Next to the vehicle start-stop button, there was indeed an extra red button. When I pressed it, the blade rollers at the front spun up at high speed. They looked terrifying. If I got caught in that, I'd be chopped into pieces in seconds. I couldn't wait to test its power. If you're wondering where the most zombies are right now, it's definitely the official base's zombie extermination ground. I just need to wait on the road leading to the extermination ground, and there'll be an endless stream of zombies to kill. I started the vehicle. The RV slowly pulled out of the farmer's market. Not far after we set off, zombies were already drawn by the sound and lunged at the RV. I let out a cold laugh, hit the blade roller switch, and instantly the zombie was sucked in. When it came out, it was nothing but a pile of mints. I couldn't contain my excitement. Driving this RV is just way too satisfying. On the road, I spotted a gas station. I turned in to fill up both fuel tanks. This gas station was self-service. Just scan and pay. Just then, helicopters kept flying overhead. Based on the direction, I could roughly pinpoint the extermination ground. After filling up, I immediately followed them. Soon I got onto a national highway. This highway had clearly been specially treated. No vehicles on the road at all, and tall barbed wire fences on both sides. I drove a bit further, and many low-hovering helicopters appeared, with a sea of zombies below them. After luring the zombies here, they returned to the city to go attract the next batch of helicopters. After they left, a military vehicle with a cage would appear. Inside the cage were live animals. The zombies on the highway would be attracted by the blood and flesh in the cage and be led toward the extermination ground. I can only imagine how spectacular the inside of the extermination ground must be. I sped up. The blade rollers spun wildly. One zombie after another got ground into paste. Inside the helicopter above, the pilot saw what was happening below and was dumbfounded for a second. Looks like a pink RV somehow got mixed into the zombie horde. And it's modified. People usually run from zombies. Anyone who'd come here, 8 out of 10, is here to collect crystal cores. Should we report it to the team? The main pilot thought for a moment. Forget it. The team probably already noticed. No one's stopping it, so they probably don't care. There are too many zombies to kill anyway. If he wants to kill, let him. But not many people know the use of crystal cores yet. This guy's pretty sharp. Probably an ability user. The co-pilot agreed. The base is under construction and needs ability users. When he leaves, someone will probably go talk to him and get him to join the base. After the helicopter circled above the RV twice, it flew toward the city. Inside the RV, I'd been driving for 3 hours straight. I was numb. Still no sign of the zombie extermination ground. I turned the RV around and stopped facing the zombie tide. The blade rollers kept harvesting zombies. What surprised me was, inside the transparent box under the center console, there weren't just crystal cores. There were also a lot of jewelry pieces. I took out the box, dumped it on the coffee table, and counted. There were 25 crystal cores in total. Before I could even celebrate, all the crystal cores flashed and disappeared completely, right before the zombie outbreak. My cat and I hid in a carefully modified RV. The RV was packed with supplies I'd stockpiled in advance. This life, I'm going to make it to the end credits. Crystal cores obtained by the host will be used to repay the system first. Current remaining balance, 175 cores. Hearing that, I had to accept it. If that damn system hadn't modified the RV for me, collecting cores wouldn't have been this easy. I stopped worrying about it. With Takshu, I ate and drank my fill, watched some TV, and went to sleep. The next day, just at dawn, I came to check the crystal core collection box. When I saw it was packed full of cores, I was both shocked and thrilled. I immediately dumped them on the table and counted them one by one. I'd collected 71 crystal cores. At this rate, by tomorrow morning, I'll have paid off the cores I owe the system. After that, everything I get will be mine. Suddenly, I felt completely refreshed. I immediately started the car and turned around. Destination, the zombie slaughter zone. Today's temperature was a few degrees higher than yesterday. The air conditioning had to run 24/7 to regulate the temperature. Luckily, the solar panels on the roof helped ease my fuel anxiety. I snacked while driving slowly down the national highway. For hours later, the zombie slaughter zone slowly came into view. I climbed onto the roof to take a look. In that moment, I felt the full impact of heavy national engineering. On the flat ground, there were 3 huge, cylindrical metal rollers, each over 100 meters long, thicker than a building. Their surfaces were smooth, reflecting the cold glint of metal in the sunlight. At the connection point of the 3 giant rollers, there was an even larger circular power hub, driving the massive rollers to slowly turn. In front of this behemoth, everything else seemed pathetically small. Dense crowds of zombies were being drawn toward the central power hub, where the metal rollers passed. Zombies were crushed into paste. Behind the rollers, there was also a conveyor belt that carried away the shredded flesh. If I had to guess, it was probably sending the remains for crystal core sorting. No wonder it's an official base. They could build such massive, efficient equipment in such a short time, something private bases could never match. I went back inside the RV and decided to stay here for a few days, collect more crystal cores, and leave only when the fuel tank was almost empty. The next few days were pretty boring. I played games, pet the cat, ate when hungry, slept when tired. Outside, zombies held nonstop, but my main goal was to relax. I stayed in bed until noon the next day. Not only did I pay off the 104 crystal cores I owed the system, I had 22 left over. I immediately expanded 1 cubic meter of fish pond and 9 square meters of farmland, getting ready to increase sustainable output. By the 3rd day, the number of crystal cores had reached 98 plus the 12 I had left from yesterday. Now I could expand 110 cubic meters of space. Just as I was dreaming of a bright future, the fuel gauge started beeping. I hadn't noticed before, but when I looked, I got a shock. The fuel was almost gone. I didn't expect the zombie harvester to be such a gas guzzler. I quickly started the car, drove off the highway, and navigated to the nearest gas station. When I got to the station, I didn't rush to refuel. Instead, I first expanded each of the 2 fuel tanks by 30 cubic meters. That way, with a full tank, the RV could run for hundreds of thousands of kilometers. No more fuel anxiety. Besides that, I also had to expand the water tanks. 30 cores for the clean water tank, 20 for the purified water tank. After filling both fuel tanks, I opened my phone's navigation to find the next destination. Suddenly, a helicopter roared in from the distance and hovered right above me. When it was still a dozen meters off the ground, several figures jumped out of the cabin. Thud, thud, thud. They hit the ground hard, leaving craters. But they were completely fine. They walked toward me like normal people. I frowned on high alert, my whole body tensing. Could they be metal-type ability users? In the apocalypse, ability users are practically at the top of the pyramid. Every major base fights over them. But what would a few metal-type ability users want with me? Hello, I'm Zhang Hanyu, construction supervisor of the official base. We detected that you might be a metal-type ability user, so I came to invite you to join the base. I was totally confused. What did you say? Me, a metal-type ability user? You've got the wrong person. Zhang Hanyu didn't believe me. Your RV's metal reinforcement is so strong that a horde of zombies couldn't even leave a scratch. Even if you're not a fine control ability user, you're definitely some kind of ability user. Think about it. You can name your terms. If we can meet them, we will. The problem is, I really am not. But I couldn't reveal the system, so I had to act aloof and cold. Not interested. You should leave. Seeing how firm I was, Zhang Hanyu reluctantly took out a business card and handed it to me. This has my contact info and address. Come find me if you change your mind. I took the card and shook his hand as a formality. Then they got back in the helicopter and left. But the next second, I noticed my hand had turned metallic. It looked pretty cool. I was shocked. Could I really be a metal-type ability user? Why hadn't I noticed before? I thought about it, but couldn't figure it out. Oh well, awakening an ability is a good thing anyway. I went back to the car and opened the navigation. Right then, I noticed a waterworks plant not far from the gas station. That's perfect. I can fill up the expanded water tanks. I started the engine and headed for the waterworks. A 5-person rescue team sent by the official base was advancing. This was their first mission since forming. Their goal was to safely evacuate survivors and retrieve water purification equipment. Zombies. Jinsheng, protect me. Meng Shiwan crouched in a corner, face pale, looking like a fragile little flower battered by the storm. Right before the zombie outbreak, me and my cat Takshu had hidden inside my carefully modified RV. The RV was stocked with plenty of supplies I'd stored in advance. This life, I'm going to make it to the end credits. Her screams quickly drew the attention of nearby zombies. They bared their teeth and charged over. The other 4 were furious and wanted to curse her out. Even though they were all ability users, they were low level. Dealing with a dozen zombies was fine, but now hundreds were rushing at them at once. They couldn't handle it. Yet they couldn't abandon Meng Shiwan because she was a rare space-type ability user. They'd need her to collect the equipment later. Gu Jinsheng's face darkened. He kept launching ice arrows with his power, but every time he took down a batch, the next wave would rush in immediately. Endless. They couldn't kill them all. Tao Yering cursed. You keep screaming. Scream at your mother. Do you want to die? If you don't want to live, don't drag us down with you. We don't want to die yet. Gu Jinsheng stayed silent. He was sick of Meng Shiwan too. Now it was a matter of life and death, and she was still holding them back. She was truly stupid. Meng Shiwan was furious after being yelled at. Do you know who my father is? How dare you talk to me like that? You'll be sorry when we get out. And I have a rare space ability. The higher-ups said, you can let everyone else die, but not me. After the zombie outbreak, Gu Jinsheng awakened ice abilities, and Meng Shiwan awakened space abilities. Their father Meng Hanyuan donated supplies to the official base, and got the position of logistics supervisor, mainly in charge of resource allocation at the base. He had considerable influence in Seed Base. After all, he controlled the supplies. Even important figures treated him with respect. I frowned on high alert, my whole body tensing. Could they be metal-type ability users? In the apocalypse, ability users are practically at the top of the pyramid. Every major base fights over them. Tao Yering gritted her teeth. So you really want us to die? If we die, you'll get out alive? Meng Qinghua couldn't argue with him. So she whined to Gu Jinsheng again. Jinsheng, look, he's bullying me. Aren't you going to say something? Gu Jinsheng didn't want to deal with her. He wondered what the hell he had married. If it were Meng Shiwan, this wouldn't have happened. Gu Jinsheng proposed. We can't keep stalling like this. We have to pull out. Otherwise we'll really die here. Tao Yering was furious. Look at your precious little wife. Can you make her stand up and walk? If she keeps causing trouble like this, I'm not going to die here with her. Gu Jinsheng asked Meng Qinghua if she could stand and walk. We can't stay here. Meng Qinghua whimpered. My legs are weak from fear. I can't stand up. If you can't stand, then die here. Tao Yering and the other two teammates retreated quickly without looking back. Seeing this, Meng Qinghua popped up instantly. What are you doing? Do you really want me to die here? Gu Jinsheng suppressed the urge to throw Meng Qinghua out to feed the zombies. He yelled, stop babbling. Hurry up and follow me. Seeing that everyone really ignored her, Meng Qinghua's legs weren't weak anymore, and she wasn't scared either. She stuck close behind Gu Jinsheng. The five fought the zombies while breaking through along the wall toward the factory gate. The situation wasn't good. Leisure released his last bolt of lightning, then said grimly, my ability is drained. We'll have to fight our way out with brute force. And Jiawen looked just as grim. We don't have many bullets left. They'll be gone soon. Then, as if something occurred to him, he asked Gu Jinsheng, Meng Qinghua's space, can we hide in it? If we really can't fight our way out, we could take shelter in her space first, then figure out another way. Before Gu Jinsheng could respond, Meng Qinghua behind him snorted coldly. You didn't care about me earlier. I retreated on my own. And now you want to get into my space? Dream on. The three of them looked grim. How did they end up with such a clueless teammate? What a damn stroke of bad luck. Gu Jinsheng said in a low voice. Qinghua, we're teammates. They stayed behind to protect you. You can't act like this. Meng Qinghua softened her tone. Fine, since Brother Jinsheng says so. I'll reluctantly let them into my space. But when we get back to base, I'll settle the score with them. Protect you. We almost died here for you. And you still want to settle scores with us? I'll fucking kill you. Tao Yering aimed her pistol at Meng Qinghua. Just then, a rumbling mechanical sound caught their attention. They looked in the direction of the noise and saw a pink RV slowly driving toward the factory. The spinning blade roller at the front of the RV was mowing down one zombie after another. Tao Yering quickly pulled out a flashlight and flashed it toward the RV, trying to get the driver's attention. When Gu Jinsheng saw the RV, his expression instantly became complicated. Meng Qinghua looked both surprised and hostile. Meng Shiwan, she's not dead. What is she doing here? Inside the RV, I had already noticed the situation. I didn't want to meddle at first, but seeing the zombies clustered together, I couldn't resist going over to harvest them. I drove the RV to the factory entrance and charged straight into the zombie horde. I stopped and waited quietly for the blade roller to shred them all. Once most of the zombies were cleared, the blocked people slowly came into view. Gu Jinsheng, Meng Qinghua, what a small world. Thinking about what they did in my past life, anger surged inside me. Meng Qinghua noticed Gu Jinsheng's gaze and punched him. Why are you looking at her like that? Can't you get over her? Gu Jinsheng lost it. Aren't you done making a scene? You almost got us killed. If it weren't for Meng Shiwan, we'd all be dead here. Can't forget your ex, huh? Now you think she's better than me in every way? You weren't like this when you got together with me behind her back. Not like this. Wow, this is explosive. The three bystanders were stunned by the drama. They never expected such a huge scandal. Meng Qinghua pointed at the RV and cursed. Meng Shiwan, it's the apocalypse now. How dare you still follow Gu Jinsheng around? We're already married. He's my husband now. You'd better stop pining over him. Gu Jinsheng felt deeply embarrassed. He went to pull Meng Qinghua away. How long are you going to carry on? Meng Qinghua was furious. What's with your attitude? Are you defending her? I'm just stating facts. She must have found out you're here and came looking for you on purpose. Everyone knows Meng Shiwan was crazy about you. At the same time, I got off the RV carrying the spirit shovel and walked toward Meng Qinghua. On the eve of the zombie apocalypse, my half-sister stole my fiancé, took my modified RV, and left me to die in a zombie's mouth. But what I didn't expect was that after my rebirth, I'd run into this filthy pair. The next second, I swung my fist hard into that smug face of hers. Meng Qinghua flew 2 meters back with a whoosh, hitting the ground hard. Her eyes were full of shock and disbelief. A cold smirk curled at the corner of my mouth. The metallic glow on my right hand slowly faded. The three bystanders were all stunned. A metal-type ability user. She's a metal-type ability user. Then all three looked secretly thrilled. That felt so good. Finally, someone's going to take down that bitch. Gu Jinsheng glanced at Meng Qinghua, whose face was swollen like a pig's. Now unconscious, his eyes were ice cold. Then he walked up to me with a lovesick expression. I swear, my marriage to Meng Qinghua is just a business arrangement. The one I've always loved is you. If it were before the apocalypse, his fake words would have made me so happy I couldn't sleep for days. But now, they just make me want to vomit. I aimed at Gu Jinsheng's head and swung the spirit shovel in my hand hard at it. With a bang, Gu Jinsheng was dazed instantly, staggering and unable to keep his balance. My face was cold, my eyes full of murderous intent as I glared at them. You filthy pair, I'll kill you both today. Gu Jinsheng felt a chill in his heart. He knew this was bad. He instinctively raised his arm to block, and a huge gash was instantly sliced open. The spirit shovel swung again, but Meng Shiwan suddenly lunged over, activated her space ability, and disappeared with Gu Jincheng in an instant. I put away the spirit shovel, feeling a pang of regret. Such a good chance, and they got away. At the same time, I sensed something strange in my body again. This feeling was exactly like when I first awakened my metal ability. I tentatively tried it. The next second, the spirit shovel in my hand vanished instantly. My eyes lit up, and I immediately used my mind to probe the location of the factory. It appeared again. Then I concentrated again, trying to take an ice cream cone out of the fridge space. The next second, the cone really appeared in my hand. Space ability. I couldn't believe it. I'd actually awakened a space ability, and it was linked to the interior of the RV. From now on, when collecting supplies, I won't have to haul them back by the truckload. I can just use the ability and store everything directly. Leisha almost thought he was seeing things. Space ability? Wasn't he a metal type ability user? A dual type ability user. Even rarer than a space ability user. A dual type ability user. No one like that had ever appeared in the base before. Tao Yering shouted in shock. On the other side, after thinking for a moment, I activated my ability again. An ice arrow actually condensed in my palm. Ice ability. He's a triple type ability user. The three bystanders were completely stunned. They thought, we've really run into a big shot today. The next moment, I suddenly appeared in front of Tao Yering. I smiled and asked, pretty lady, what's your ability? Tao Yering was flattered. She quickly replied, sister, I have a wood type ability. I held out my hand. Nice to meet you. Tao Yering immediately shook it with both hands and said excitedly, nice to meet you too, boss. Are you really a triple ability user? I smiled without answering. I materialized an ice cream bar and handed it to her. Hot out, cool down. Tao Yering quickly took it. Thanks, boss. Then I turned to Injewan, who was standing nearby. I held out my hand and smiled. What about you? Handsome. Injewan immediately shook my hand. He stammered excitedly, sister, I don't eat ice cream. Tao Yering slapped him. Who asked if you eat ice cream? Sister's asking what your ability is. Oh, I have a breath ability. Injewan looked embarrassed. I handed him a chilled cola. Hot day, and you don't eat ice cream. Have some happy water instead. Injewan quickly took it, thanking me and bowing repeatedly. Leisha was sharp enough. Before I even asked, he stepped forward and shook my hand. Boss, I'm Leisha. I have a lightning ability. I nodded. Then I smiled at the three of them. I've got a bit of a temper. I hope you three can keep today's events to yourselves. Tao Yering quickly promised, don't worry, boss. We only saw what happened with Meng Shiwan and Gu Jincheng. We know nothing else. The strength of a triple type ability user, combined with decisive and ruthless moves. This woman in front of them was bound to accomplish great things in the apocalypse. Tao Yering and the other two immediately declared, boss, do you have any plans next? If you need any hired help, please remember us. We want to follow you. I grunted a vague reply and walked toward the waterworks building. Watching me leave, the three muttered, triple type ability. So enviable. I hope the boss finds us useful someday. At that moment, I stared at the lightning flickering in my palm and sneered to myself. I'm not a triple type ability user. I'm now a sextuple type ability user. And my original ability, the one truly my own, is actually a replication ability. As long as I've had contact with someone, I can copy their ability and make it my own. I carefully inspected the pool, confirmed the water source was clean, not contaminated by zombies. I placed my hand into the pool and activated my ability. The clean water tank and the purified water tank filled instantly. Then, with a slight thought, the next moment I was inside the RV. Taksha jumped, startled by my sudden appearance. Looking confused, its little head was tilting, clearly unable to figure out what happened. I went to the driver's cabin, opened the crystal core collection box, and counted them, 12 in total. I decisively used them all to upgrade the clean water tank. I was already at the water plant. I had to stock up on water before leaving. Then I tried to teleport back to the plant to fill the newly expanded 12 cubic meters of space. But it didn't work. Looks like I can only return to the RV from outside, but cannot go from the RV to the outside. Left with no choice, I walked back to where the three were still waiting. They were very surprised to see me come out of the RV. Damn, the boss has already learned to teleport. That's awesome. Seeing them still standing there, I asked, why are you still here? Tao Yering quickly explained, we're waiting for Meng Shiwan and Gu Jincheng. Hearing that, I raised an eyebrow. They'll come out from here. Yeah, Meng Shiwan can't teleport, so she has to exit from the same place she entered. We're waiting for them to come out. Then we still have a mission to finish. I see. Then, I put on a sly grin. I said to the three, aren't you supposed to be looking for survivors? Go on ahead. I'll keep watch here for you. On the eve of the zombie outbreak, my half-sister stole my fiancé, grabbed my modified RV, and got me killed by zombies. But what I never expected was that after being reborn, I'd run into that filthy pair. I sat down on the steps nearby, eating sunflower seeds and playing on my phone. About an hour later, the filthy pair finally came out of the space. I was quick. I swung the spirit shovel and slashed at both their throats. But Meng Shiwan was faster than I expected. She instantly activated her ability, and the two vanished again. I waited until evening, but neither of them came out of the space again. Stalling with those two turtles hiding in their shell wasn't going to work. The temperature outside was nearly 50 degrees Celsius now. Impossible to stay out. I'll just have to wait for another chance to kill them. I got up and walked back to the RV. Back in the RV, I took a cold shower first, then changed into something lighter. The weather's only going to get hotter. I don't feel like going out anymore. I decided to find a place to lie low. 20 minutes later, I parked the RV steadily on the national highway. The blade rollers kept mowing down zombies endlessly. Then I took Takshu into a farm, wanting to test the wood type ability. Takshu loved it there. The moment we entered, it went wild with joy, running around everywhere. Wood type ability can manipulate plants and also accelerate their growth. I crouched down on the soil and tried to activate my ability on a tomato seed. The ability inside me slowly released. Under the catalysis of the wood type ability, the tomato seed grew at lightning speed. In the blink of an eye, it reached about 10 centimeters. Only when my ability was completely drained did the tomato stop growing. I frowned. According to my knowledge from the past life, ability levels are divided into 10 tiers. The higher you go, the stronger you become. I'm probably between tier 1 and tier 2 right now. Too weak. If I tried to grow the entire farm's plants, I'd probably only manage to get them to sprout. But in my previous life, there were rumors that the base was researching a powerful ability enhancement liquid. If an ordinary person drinks it, they can awaken an ability. If an ability user drinks it, their tier can increase. After some thought, I asked the system, do you know about the ability enhancement liquid? Ability enhancement liquid, 100 crystal cores per vial. Ability replenishment liquid, 50 crystal cores per vial. The replenishment liquid is taken after ability is depleted and quickly restores your ability. Both are excellent items. In my past life, after 3 years in the apocalypse, the base still hadn't figured them out, and the system actually sells them. If this news got out, ability users would probably go crazy for it. But then again, this is way too expensive. There's at most 20 or 30 in the collection box right now. I thought about haggling with the system, but before I could even speak, the system's urgent alert sounded. Warning, the RV has been locked on for attack. It may tip over in the coming explosion. Are you willing to spend all crystal cores for protection? Locked on for attack. After I snapped back to reality, I quickly looked out the window. In the darkness, a helicopter hovered above the RV. A man stood at the boarding door, fiddling with a huge explosive pack. My heart jumped. I immediately shouted to the system, yes, I'm willing. I can gather crystal cores again. But if the RV falls, that would be trouble. The next second, the huge explosive pack fell from the sky. Flames and thick smoke completely engulfed the RV. Even the surrounding zombies were blown away. Then 2 more huge blasts. Massive fire erupted on the national highway, with rolling black smoke. Inside the helicopter, the man at the boarding door sneered. For such a small fry, does our Salama organization really have to make such a big show? It's like using a butcher's knife to kill a chicken. The Salama organization is a small faction. Inside the official base, they search for supplies, kill zombies. Generally, a decent organization. But if there's a murder job, go to them. As long as the price is right, they'll take it. The pilot laughed. No choice, the client paid way too much. He said, as long as we take out this person named Meng Shiwan, they'll give us a whole grain warehouse. Who could say no to that? Kill her quickly. Go back and report. Don't worry, it's in the bag. A mere primary metal type ability user. There's no way she can withstand the power of those explosive packs. The pilot chuckled. Good. Shoot a short video of the scene, and we'll head back to report. The man pulled out his phone, aimed it downward. Suddenly his brow furrowed. The more he looked, the more something seemed off. On the potholed national highway, the RV sat steady. Not even a single window was shattered. Impossible. Even if she reinforced the RV, there's no way it could withstand that dose of explosives. The man's face was full of disbelief. The next second, a woman pressed against the front windshield, flipping him off. The man's face went white with rage. He immediately grabbed another explosive pack, ready for a second round of bombing. Inside the RV, I yelled at the system, do you have any weapons for sale? The system's voice rang out. Yes, but you have no crystal cores. Give me something powerful. I need to take down that helicopter. I'll owe you the cores. I'll pay double later. Weapon shop opened. Host, please choose for yourself. Crystal cores will be deducted automatically later. Instantly, a virtual screen appeared, displaying all kinds of weapons. Like an arms dealer. Small ones like pistols and grenades. Medium ones like planes and tanks. Large ones like missiles and nukes. My eyes went dizzy. After filtering through, I picked an RPG that cost 150 crystal cores. A smart tracking rocket launcher. I immediately grabbed the RPG and climbed onto the RV. After locking the target, I pressed a button. With a whoosh, the rocket shot toward the helicopter. At high speed. Danger. The pilot reacted fast, immediately adjusting direction, turning the fuselage. But it was useless, because I was using the most advanced smart tracking rocket launcher. Then a huge bang in the sky. The helicopter exploded instantly, like a brilliant firework lighting up the land. Back inside the RV, I carefully sorted through everything that happened today. I'd beaten up the filthy pair during the day, and at night someone comes to kill me. I didn't need to think twice about who did it. Right now I can't wait to get to the base and kill those 2 bastards. But I still owe the system 300 crystal cores, so I have to hold back a few days. After I pay off the cores, I'll buy an ability enhancement potion, then head to the base for revenge. Inside the base, in a suburban factory, the top floor was lavishly decorated. This was the headquarters of the Salama organization. Right now, a man was lying on the sofa, eating fresh fruit and drinking red wine. That was Yao Feng, founder of Salama. Just then, a man rushed in frantically. Boss, any news? Did they kill her? Yao Feng took a gulp of wine, looking very pleased. The man replied in panic. Boss, they were killed instead. Yao Feng, who was drinking, jerked his hand. The wine poured right into his nasal cavity. After the zombie outbreak, my half-sister not only stole my fiancé, but also paid a huge sum to hire 2 underground assassins to take me out. Luckily, the RV system activated in time. I came out completely unscathed, and even successfully killed both of them. When the big shot learned the truth, he immediately decided to send the base's most powerful ability user. Where's Shinpeng? Have him take weapons. No matter what, we have to kill this Meng Shiwan. Shinpeng is a speed-type ability user, and a level 3 ability user at that. Did they kill her? The most powerful member of the organization, Yao Feng, had spent a fortune back then to invite him to join. I don't believe that woman, no matter how capable, can withstand a speed-type ability user's fully armed assassination. It wasn't until the 4th day that I finally paid back the 300 crystal cores I owed the system. I still had 202 left, so I decisively summoned the shop and bought 2 ability enhancement potions. 200 crystal cores disappeared from the table, and 2 milky white, long cylindrical glass bottles appeared. The bottles were small, thin, and tiny when held in my hand. The milky white liquid inside seemed to shimmer. Without hesitation, I downed it all in one go. The liquid spread through my body, and I could clearly feel it transform into surging energy, flooding my whole body. As for what level my ability would rise to, I'd only find out by testing it. So I decided to set out immediately, heading to the base. I drove the RV through the suburbs and could see above the city columns of thick smoke rising from time to time. With the temperature at 60 degrees, fires and other hazards were easy to start, and this was only the beginning. At that moment, I passed by a commercial street. Looking around, all the shops sold clothes or bedding. I opened the collection box. So far on this road, I'd accumulated 5 crystal cores, plus the 2 left from this morning. That made 7. I parked the RV on the side of the street. I pulled up the RV's perspective view and used all 7 crystal cores to upgrade the wardrobe space. Bedding, clothes. I hadn't stocked up much of those. Since I encountered them now, it was a good chance to stock up more. Just as I was about to get out of the car, a loud bang suddenly rang out. It was the sound of a bullet hitting the glass beside me. Although the glass didn't shatter, I could clearly tell that it was a bullet from a high-powered sniper rifle. I looked out the window, coldly scanning every corner around. Hiding at the street corner, Shinpeng had his sniper rifle aimed, his eyes wide open, face full of disbelief. No way, a sniper rifle couldn't even penetrate the window glass. Isn't he a fine control ability user? He shouldn't be able to reinforce the glass. This guy really is suspicious. Since that's the case, I'll have to go head-to-head with him. Use my ability to kill him. In terms of abilities, Shinpeng was extremely confident. In the entire base, there weren't many level 3 ability users, and he had a special speed-type ability. Shinpeng threw the sniper rifle in his hand to the roadside. He stood in front of the car and shouted, "Get down. Let's fight one-on-one." Since the guy was already standing in front of my car, it seemed rude not to do something. So I started the vehicle and charged at him. But the man in front of the car was like an afterimage. He vanished in an instant. I frowned. A speed-type ability user. That's rare. So I decided to get out and face him. First, I wanted his speed ability. And second, I wanted to test my strength after drinking 2 ability-boosting serums. I stopped a short distance from Shinpeng. I stopped walking. With a calm expression, I said, "Who sent you? When you're about to die, I'll tell you everything you want to know." A victorious smile already curled at the corner of Shinpeng's mouth. He lunged forward, rushing at me, so fast that even his afterimage was untraceable. But before his dagger could touch my throat, he felt a chill at his chest. He looked down. A slender, metallized arm was thrust into his chest. With a little force, I could crush his heart. Impossible. How could he be faster than me? Looking at his shocked face, I said softly, "Your speed is way too slow. Spill it. Who sent you?" Shinpeng clenched his teeth. He now only hoped that Yao Feng would have some loyalty and take care of his family. Seeing this, I snorted coldly. I applied force with my palm. Along with the sound of a heart bursting, Shinpeng instantly lost all strength. He collapsed to the ground. Looking at my arm, bright red and gleaming with a metallic sheen, I laughed. I've copied another new ability. Looks like those 2 ability-boosting serums were really effective. Before leaving, I collected the man's gear. A sniper rifle, a pistol, and some ammunition. I'll probably need them later. Then, I took taxi and walked into a sports brand store. Inside, discounted down jackets were hanging, mostly spring and summer clothes. I didn't care whether they looked good or not, as long as they were my size. I put them all into my space. I didn't let the neighboring stores off either. I cleared them all out, until 7 spots were packed full. Only then did I stop. Around a little past 5 p.m., I drove to the outskirts of the base. The base was surrounded by high electric fences. A long line was waiting for inspection at the entrance. Otherwise, if an infected person got into the base, the entire base would suffer. The line was split into 2. One line was for those on foot. People stood under the makeshift awnings by the road. Still, they were sweating buckets from the heat. Some used small fans to cool themselves, but it was useless against the 60-degree heat. The other line was for those who came by vehicle. Looking up, there were all kinds of vehicles. Cars had AC, so they were a bit better off than those standing outside. I queued at the back of the vehicle line. The modified pink RV stood out conspicuously. Inside the RV, I sipped an iced cola, while controlling the vehicle, moving slowly with the line. Meanwhile, a bald man was staring at everything inside the RV. His eyes were sinister and greedy. The man beside him muttered, "Bro, this RV is a good catch." "Humph, you think I don't know it's a good catch? When we get inside the base, tail her. She's just a young girl. How can we not handle her?" The 2 exchanged a look, both sporting sinister grins. After the zombie outbreak, my half-sister not only stole my fiancé, but also spent a fortune to hire 2 underground assassins to get rid of me. Fortunately, the RV system activated in time. Not only was I unharmed, but I also managed to kill them both. A dozen minutes later, a worker in a fluorescent suit, waving a small yellow flag, guided me to park the RV inside an automatic car wash. I got out of the car holding Takshu. A strong smell of disinfectant hit my nose. So the car wash used disinfectant to kill any zombie virus on the RV. As soon as Takshu got off, he started panting from the heat. I quietly formed some frost in my palm and placed it on his head to cool him down. I followed the instructions on a nearby sign and walked into a small glass room next door. As soon as I stood inside, the door locked automatically. Then disinfectant mist sprayed from all directions. After the disinfection, I followed the signs into a smaller room further inside. It had air conditioning, much cooler than outside. Behind a glass counter sat a woman in protective gear, wrapped in white. She rolled up her sleeve to draw blood. Her voice was cold, even a bit impatient. Blood test. It was to check if the zombie virus had entered the body. In my past life, I went through this process many times. I did as the woman said. Soon she drew a vial of blood. She told me to wait aside. The results would be ready in a few minutes. I sat there bored, waiting for the result. Takshu looked around curiously, his face full of curiosity. Suddenly, an urgent alarm sounded. The woman in protective gear jumped up, her face full of shock. She stared at me in alarm. I sensed something wrong. This machine rarely goes off, unless there's a major event. At the same time, the woman's even more horrified voice rang out. You're an ability user. Sure enough, this machine could detect the zombie virus, and also the ability fluctuations in the blood. I nodded calmly, but then her even more shocked voice came. You're a level 5 ability user. You see, the entire base hadn't even seen a level 4 ability user yet, and now there was a level 5 ability user? How could she not be shocked? Ability users are divided into 10 levels. Levels 1 to 3 are low level. Levels 3 to 6 are intermediate. Levels 7 to 9 are high level. And level 10 is the maximum. Each level up is a chasm. I was surprised too. This machine could actually test levels. After drinking 2 ability boosting serums, I was now a level 5 ability user. Calculated that way, 100 gene and 1 ability boosting serum was still quite a good deal. Looking at the excited woman inside, I said calmly, can I leave now? The woman became much warmer. Yes, you may. I wish you a pleasant stay in the base. Watching me leave, her eyes full of envy, I carried Takshu and returned to the car. The car started, entering the next room. Then a man in protective gear, carrying a sprayer, walked up and said, interior inspection and disinfection. As soon as the man stepped onto the RV, a wave of cool air hit him. He was clearly stunned. But when he saw the inside of the RV, he was even more shocked. Snacks and daily necessities were everywhere. He opened the fridge, and it was packed with ice sodas and chilled fruit. God knows, chilled stuff is a huge temptation to humans in extreme heat. Holding the disinfectant spray gun, he said, vehicle interior inspection complete. No issues. You may pass. I followed the direction and continued driving forward. On both sides were flat parks, but the plants in the park were dried out and withered. Looking into the distance, a city of tall buildings. But now everything inside had changed. I was about to start the car. Suddenly noticed a large circle of people gathered in front of the car, each one wearing a warm smile. I was momentarily confused. However, I soon spotted a familiar face in the crowd. It was the one who jumped from the helicopter, the precision ability user who invited me to join the base construction team. I got out of the car, walked up to Zhang Hanyu, asked, did you need something from me? Zhang Hanyu was all enthusiasm. Last time I invited you to join our team. Have you considered it? Meals and accommodation provided, private dorm, air conditioning, and we'll pay you a salary. Seeing he was listing more and more, another man pushed him aside and said to me with a smile, come to our rescue team instead. I'll triple whatever he offers. I understood, just had my blood tested, and the news already reached the base upper management. These people came to poach me. I smiled calmly. You shouldn't be unaware of why I came to the base. The voices stopped abruptly. They all rolled their eyes, but said nothing. I smiled. Any one of you. If you kill Meng Shiwan and Gu Jinqing for me, I'll join your team, and I don't need a salary. Everyone fell even more silent. Not to mention Meng Shiwan and Gu Jinqing's status. Both families are quite wealthy and have contributed greatly to the base construction. Both sets of elders hold important positions in the base, quite influential, even if they didn't have such background. One is a rare space ability user, the other an ice ability user. They can't just kill them to recruit a level 5 ability user, right? Zhang Hanyu leaned in, whispered, join my team. Do whatever you need to do. I never interfere in my team members' personal lives. The others stared wide-eyed at Zhang Hanyu, then chimed in. Yeah, we highly respect personal lives. Never interfere. I spread my hands. Then there's nothing to discuss. Please move aside. I have to go. Seeing I was completely uncompromising, they had to make way. Let me go not far away. In the distance, several men were crouching in the withered greenery of the park, watching the roadside intently. Boss, something's not right. Those guys don't look like ordinary people. What are they talking about? That girl doesn't have connections in the base, does she? Baldy thought it unlikely. If she had backing, would she be standing in this heat, talking on the main road for so long? Definitely something in her RV. These people came to interrogate. If I'm guessing right, an RV with such a big compartment must be loaded with supplies. The other's eyes lit up immediately. Boss, if we get our hands on this RV, not only can we enjoy air conditioning, but we won't go hungry either. Baldy wiped the sweat off his head. Follow it. First observe the situation, then wait for the right moment to act. After the zombie apocalypse broke out, my half-sister not only stole my fiancé, but also spent a fortune to hire 2 underground assassins to kill me. Luckily, the RV system activated in time. Not only was I unharmed, I also successfully killed them both. Killer's organization headquarters. Yao Feng, wearing boxers, was doing push-pull exercises. His muscles bulged. At that moment, a subordinate came over looking flustered. Boss, Shinpeng. Yao Feng put down the equipment, wiped sweat from his forehead, and said, "It's good if he's dead. No need to report to me." The subordinate saw his confident look. His mouth twitched, whispered, "Boss, Shinpeng is dead." Yao Feng dug in his ear. His face turned cold. "What did you say? Say that again." The subordinate was on the verge of tears. "Just now, someone saw a pink RV enter the base. Looks a lot like our target. Later we checked and found out. Shinpeng's assassination failed. He was killed instead." Yao Feng's eyes instantly turned bloodshot. Enraged, he said, "Shinpeng was a speed-type level 3 ability user. How could he be killed by a woman?" The subordinate shrank his neck and continued, "Boss, according to the base's blood test, the target is a level 5 ability user." Yao Feng nearly went insane. He collapsed onto the sofa. Didn't expect that outcome. The first job the organization took already hit a tough nut. The subordinate tentatively asked, "Boss, do we still kill her?" Yao Feng gritted his teeth. "Kill. Must kill. Send someone to watch first. Don't act rashly. Find the right moment for a lethal strike. This is not just about the job. It's become personal." The more Yao Feng thought, the angrier he got. He stood up and walked out. The subordinate followed closely. "Boss, where are you going? Damn it. The client gave us wrong information. Caused us heavy losses. I'm going to settle accounts with them." Meanwhile, at the base hospital, Meng Shiwan was in a private room, flying into a rage. How could she be a level 5 ability user? Absolutely impossible. Last time, the professor said she was just a level 3 ability user. Meng Shiwan's teeth were knocked out by me. She spoke with a lisp, but she still kept cursing loudly. She couldn't accept this fact. Even more, couldn't accept that I was stronger than her. She muttered viciously to herself. "So what if she's a level 5 ability user? I have plenty of ways to kill her." I drove the RV and parked by the roadside in front of the registration hall. Anyone entering the base to live must come here to get a new ID card. I got out of the car. I activated my ice ability, gathered a layer of frost around myself, dispelling the surrounding heat. The hall was also hot. Everyone in line was sweating profusely. The whole hall smelled of sour sweat. After more than 10 minutes, I handed over my ID card. I said, "I don't need housing. Just arrange a shaded parking spot for me." Soon, the staff handed over the completed base residency card and passed it out. Seed Base, Haicheng District, Jianhu Residential Area, ground parking spot 809. Arrived at the residential area 10 days later. It was getting dark. The residential area was built next to a park. There was a large lake in the park. The overall environment was quite nice. I parked the RV in the spot. The parking spot was very wide. There was also a sunshade installed above. In the dark corner, the bald man who had been secretly following spoke. "Based on my observations along the way, we can snatch it." The subordinate next to him looked confused. "Boss, what have you observed all this way? You don't know shit." "First, I can confirm she has no connections. No ability. Someone with connections wouldn't live in assigned housing. People with abilities definitely wouldn't live here." The other men got excited the moment they heard that. "Haha, boss. When do we make a move?" Baldy stared toward the RV. "Wait a little longer. Wait until that woman falls asleep. Then we strike." Inside the RV, Takshu and I had eaten dinner. I didn't wash up or go to sleep. Instead, I curled up on the couch playing games. Before I knew it, I'd been playing until 1 a.m. Right then, the guys squatting by the wall were hot and sleepy. They were about to crack. One man said weakly, "It's 1 a.m. already. Why isn't she asleep yet? How about we just do it? It's only her." Baldy wiped the sweat off his forehead. "Let's move." They picked up their tools and walked toward the RV. Just then, the lights inside the RV suddenly went out. Baldy was thrilled. "Nice. He's finally asleep. Heaven is helping us." But soon they realized, no matter how hard they tried, the door wouldn't budge even a crack. Baldy got angry. He swung his arm, lifted the sledgehammer, and smashed it straight into the glass. The glass didn't break. He himself was knocked back several meters. Baldy landed on his ass. He was totally stunned. "Boss, did you even use any strength? There's not even a dent in the glass." Faced with his lackey's doubt, Baldy was speechless. He'd put all his baby strength into it. "What kind of glass is this? So damn tough." "Boss, you're no good. Let me try." A burly man picked up the sledgehammer. He slammed it hard against the glass. He flew back even farther than Baldy, sat on the ground, face full of shock. "Bulletproof glass isn't even this tough." Another lackey saw this and cursed. "What a damn idiot. Try a different window, why don't you?" Then, they circled the RV, banging on every window. Every single one was exhausted. But they didn't leave even a tiny scratch on the RV. Baldy yelled, "Damn it. What the hell is this RV made of? I'm guessing it could stop bullets." Right then, several figures suddenly rushed out of the dark. They were carrying bricks. They smashed them hard onto the heads of Baldy and his men. Baldy and the others dropped to the ground instantly. They had no idea what hit them. I'd been secretly watching from inside the RV, completely confused. I was thinking about getting out to take a look, but those few shadows quickly vanished. The next morning, I started the engine. I planned to go kill some zombies, get some crystal cores, but 3 familiar faces suddenly jumped in front of the RV. Tao Yering, and Jiawen, and Lei Jia. Before I could speak, Tao Yering yelled urgently, "Boss, help us, boss." I stayed silent, my face cold. "What's your life got to do with me?" Seeing that I wasn't answering, Tao Yering got scared. "Boss, there's a mission. Can you come with us? All the loot is yours." "Loot, huh?" I raised an eyebrow. "What mission?" "Go to the Central People's Hospital and rescue a water-type ability user. The higher-ups gave us a direct order. We have to bring that person back. But that's Central Hospital. The zombies there are endless. You can't kill them all." They're basically sending us to die. Can you come with us? The hospital supplies are yours, as long as we can bring back the survivor. And Jiawen and Leisha looked at me eagerly. Central Hospital is one of the biggest hospitals in Haicheng. They have a huge stockpile of medicine, and it's very well stocked. The medical equipment is top of the line too. Such good supplies. I had to get my hands on them. And I could also copy a new water ability while I'm at it. I asked right away, are we leaving now? The apocalypse had come. I thought I was the only reborn person in the world, but I didn't expect that the half-sister who killed me was just like me. And she knew even more than I did. In the hospital room, Meng Shiwan answered the phone. She asked stupidly, have they left the base? After getting a confirmed answer, Meng Shiwan let out a cold laugh. Meng Shiwan, this time you won't come back alive. The next moment, Meng Shiwan turned to look at Gu Jincheng. She said, honey, I've awakened a new ability. Hearing that, Gu Jincheng was startled. His impatient expression disappeared, replaced by eagerness. Baby, what ability did you awaken? Precognitive ability. Meng Qingyue's voice was cold and detached. No emotion at all, because only she herself knew. She hadn't awakened any ability. She had traveled back from the 10th year of the apocalypse. She knew all the natural disasters that would happen in the next 10 years, and every major event. She said that, just to cover up the truth of her rebirth. Gu Jincheng came closer, full of anticipation. Precognitive ability? Can you predict what's going to happen in the future? Meng Qingyue said flatly. In 10 days, Haicheng's largest power station will catch fire. The flames will spread, burning the circuits. The whole city will lose power and network completely. During the extreme heat, there will be fires big and small everywhere. The extreme heat will end in 2 months. Then acid rain will start. The acid rain is highly corrosive. The soil will be destroyed. Nothing can be planted for years. After the acid rain, Haicheng will face a tsunami. Then the temperature will drop sharply, and we'll enter the deep freeze. The apocalypse. Gu Jincheng's heart instantly turned heavy. Then, will the apocalypse ever end? Meng Qingyue's eyes drifted. I don't know. If someone breaks the game, it can end. If no one does, maybe it will never end. After I'm discharged, I'll have my dad arrange for me to join the Jinghua research group. Maybe that's the only way to break the game. In the 10 years of the apocalypse, Meng Qingyue had experienced a lot, and learned a lot. If she offered a few suggestions, maybe it could speed up the research on crystal cores. Right now, I was on my way to Haicheng Central Hospital. Along the way, I passed a gas station. I drove in to check. Luckily, there was still fuel in the tank. In the days to come, fuel would only become more precious. So whenever I passed the gas station, I had to go in and check. I took out the only 34 crystal cores I had left. I expanded the diesel tank and the gasoline tank by 17 cubic meters each, filled both tanks. Then I continued driving. Wherever there were more zombies, I drove there. I needed to stock up on crystal cores to expand my space. So when I got to the hospital, I could hoard medical equipment and medicine. An hour later, I opened the crystal core collection box. Counted 63 crystal cores in total. I pulled up the RV's structural view. Used all 63 cores to upgrade the medicine cabinet. Just then, Tao Yering called me. Boss, we've finished the tasks you assigned. We're waiting at the spot you specified. Before heading out, I considered the massive zombie population around Central Hospital. My RV alone wouldn't cut it. So I gave Tao Yering and the other two a task. Get 3 vehicles and coordinate with me. A dozen minutes later, I arrived at the meeting point. From a distance, I could see 3 vehicles parked by the roadside. 2 were tracked obstacle removers, surrounded by steel plates. Long metal spikes were welded onto the steel plates. Long metal spikes are welded onto the steel plate, and it's equipped with a giant claw. Leisha enthusiastically explained to me. They designed it specifically for this operation. Not only can it resist zombies, but also clear roads. There was also a large truck. The body and wheels were all welded with steel plates. A true apocalypse war wagon. I took out the walkie-talkies I had prepared earlier. 1 person per obstacle removal vehicle to lead the way. The truck in the middle, I bring up the rear. Everyone got into their vehicles. The small convoy drove along the road. Leisha took the lead. He called over the walkie-talkie. Sis, straight to the Central Hospital? I answered, yes. If zombies charge at us, just flatten them. Don't stop the vehicle. The 2 obstacle removal machines used their metal claws to move the abandoned cars blocking the road. Tao Yering and I drove behind them. The deeper we went, the more congested the roads became. Many zombies heard the roar of the vehicles and gathered toward us. Their numbers kept growing. Tao Yering shouted over the walkie-talkie boss. Should we get out and fight a path? Otherwise we won't be able to get out soon. But as soon as he finished speaking, I was already standing outside the vehicle. Ice cones suspended around me formed in midair. Dozens of finger-thick ice cones shot out, directly knocking down a wave of zombies. Then, I took a small seed out of my pocket. Under the catalysis of my ability, it sprouted 2 vines. I controlled the flexible vines. Zombies charged at me. I whipped them around their necks. With a slight tightening, the zombies' heads were forcibly severed from their bodies. Tao Yering was stunned. Metal, space, ice, wood. 4 types of abilities. The boss is actually a 4-type ability user. At that moment, the ground suddenly undulated. Like waves, it hurled the zombie horde away, finally forming an earth wall to block the zombies. Earth ability. 5-type ability user. How many abilities does this boss actually have? Tao Yering stared at the mud, mixed with cement on the wall, and felt a chill run through her scalp. It continued until 3 p.m. We finally advanced into the central area. There were extremely many zombies here, so dense they were almost stacked on each other. The windows were completely blocked. The road ahead was completely invisible. The 4 vehicles were completely surrounded by the zombie horde. Unable to move, Leisha called for help in the group. Sis, what do we do now? We can't get in. Tao Yering and Injewan were also helpless in this situation. The only one who could solve this predicament was probably the boss. Just then, my voice came through the walkie-talkie. Move out of the way. I'll take the lead. The three of them acknowledged the order over the walkie-talkie. They immediately took action. Tao Yering controlled vines that slithered out of the driver's cabin, acting like windshield wipers. They stabbed down the zombies crawling onto the hood. And Jeon's earth ability manipulated the ground to shake, shaking the zombies off the obstacle removal vehicle. Leisha's lightning ability summoned several bolts of lightning, striking down the zombies in front of the windows. The three each showed their skills. They moved their vehicles to clear a path, but ahead were still dense zombies and abandoned cars. And Jeon asked, "Sis, how do you need us to coordinate next?" I didn't reply. I floored the accelerator and charged straight at the zombie horde. Then an extremely shocking scene unfolded. Right before the zombie outbreak, I, alone with my cat, hid inside a meticulously modified RV. The RV had a huge stockpile of supplies I had stored in advance. This life, I'm going to make it to the end credits. Then the vines on the RV moved like snakes, surging forward. The moment they touched, the blocked vehicles vanished one after another, absorbed into my space. Then the vines swept out, pushing the zombies blocking the road to both sides. I controlled the RV, seizing this opening to accelerate forward. Then I shouted over the walkie-talkie for them to follow. The three of them finally snapped back to reality. They quickly started their vehicles and followed closely behind the RV. That's too strong. Boss is amazing. The three shouted excitedly over the walkie-talkie. Actually, I had just discovered this too. My strength isn't just having a replication ability, but being able to use multiple abilities in combination. The convoy moved forward slowly and steadily. Just as I was about to run out of ability energy, we finally arrived at the outskirts of the hospital. Looking at the big sign reading Central Hospital, my expression turned grim. What awaited me inside wasn't just zombies. Probably people too. It's been so smooth along the way. I don't believe that Meng Shiwan would miss such a good chance to kill me. I took out the crystals from the collection box. A good half full. The shopping basket was quite fruitful. I sat on the sofa and opened the shop. First, I bought 2 bottles of ability enhancement liquid. The remaining crystals were still a full 736. I pulled up the RV's blueprint view, all used to upgrade the medicine cabinet space. After fighting so hard to get in, I must take everything from the hospital that can be taken. Otherwise, after 2 months, when the tsunami floods, everything will be ruined. Let's go. I gave the order over the walkie-talkie. The vehicles drove out at full speed. Roger that. The three replied and got ready. Following closely behind, I smashed through the barrier, straight to the hospital parking lot. The situation here was as I expected. Not optimistic. Zombie heads bobbed in the parking lot, so many it was like a crowded market. Hearing the noise, they all gathered over. In an instant, several RVs were submerged in the zombie horde. Can't shake them off. Leisha was horrified. We're doomed, doomed. If we get out, we'll be drowned by the zombie horde. Rescue my ass. Tao Yering complained. I knew this trip was dangerous before we came. We are a bunch of idiots. Pure suicidal. And Jeon said in a low voice. This isn't the time to talk about that. What do we do now? Given their low-level abilities, they were no match for this zombie horde. Getting out would be certain death. Just then, the RV's external speaker suddenly sounded. Water ability, users awaiting rescue. If possible, let us know which building you're in. Tao Yering heard this. Startled, sis. With that shout, even more zombies are coming. We'll never fight our way out. Sure enough, instantly a large number of zombies surged from all directions. Stiff-necked, they gathered toward us. At the same time, on the consultation floor, Xiao Zi heard the external speaker. In shock. Who's that so reckless? The doctors and nurses with him heard the noise. They looked down from the window and saw the situation below. Everyone was terrified. Didn't they say the base had sent people to rescue us? Is it those few vehicles down there? They're already overwhelmed by zombies themselves. How can they save us? Xiao Zi is a water ability user. He was the one who contacted the base. He thought a helicopter would come, but never expected this. Everyone's hearts sank. They felt their chances of being rescued had dropped to nearly zero. Xiao Zi thought for a moment, then decided to give them a hint anyway. Being able to drive in here, they must have some skills. Then he activated his ability, condensing a ball of water, and splashed it all over my RV roof. After receiving the signal, I commanded through the walkie-talkie. Follow me, get ready to break out. I started the vehicle. Hundreds of vines swung wildly, pushing back the zombies blocking the road. Arriving at the consultation building, I directed the team to stop the cars. Get ready to work. Tao Yering was about to cry. Sis, we can't fight our way out. Even if we stop downstairs, we can't handle this many zombies. No way we can fight into the building. I let out a light laugh and instantly released my lightning ability. Countless bolts of lightning struck down densely. Zombies within a 50-meter radius were directly zapped into smoke and collapsed. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Leisha was stunned. Sis's lightning ability is that badass. Compared to this, my little sparks are nothing. Tao Yering was dumbfounded. She has lightning ability too? Sis is a 6-element ability user. How can one person have so many abilities? While the three were in shock, I controlled the vines to climb the outer wall and started growing upward rapidly. Then I grabbed a vine and climbed up quickly and told them to keep up. The three didn't dare delay and climbed up the vine into a window on the 10th floor. A few survivors saw us appear and exchanged awkward looks. Xiao Zi was right. They really do have skills. But now the problem is how to get down. Never mind how high it is. Even if we have the guts, there are zombies waiting below. Xiao Zi stared at me and asked, are you a dual-element ability user? Judging by the intensity, your ability level isn't low. Tao Yering and the other two stayed silent. Sis is a 6-element ability user. That would scare you to death if I said it. I glanced at the badge on her chest. Didn't expect her to become a chief physician so young. Do you know how many survivors are in the hospital? Xiao Zi said gravely. We have an internal group. We counted before. The survivors in each hospital building. Roughly over 3,000. I turned to Tao Yaring. Contact the base. Report the situation here. And tell them to send a helicopter. The few survivors who had been on edge perked up when they heard helicopter. Their eyes filled with hope. Tao Yaring, however, looked troubled. Sis, before the mission, we couldn't even get one helicopter approved. Now they probably won't give us one. I was a little speechless. I didn't say I'm taking everyone away. Just take Xiao Zi and complete the mission. Tao Yaring was stunned again. Sis, isn't that a bit not good? What about the other 3,000 survivors? We're just leaving them. I cleared my throat. How many cars do we have? How many people can we take out? Once word gets back, it's the base's problem. Why worry about that? Tao Yaring thought I made sense, so she immediately called the base. Meanwhile, I asked Xiao Zi, are you familiar with the hospital? Do you know where the pharmacy and key medical equipment are? Xiao Zi thought for a moment. First floor of this building is the pharmacy. Floors 2 to 4 are doctor consultation floors. Fifth floor is the TCM consultation floor and Chinese medicine pharmacy. Floors 6 to 12 are all kinds of examination rooms and labs. Some expensive medical equipment is in the inpatient building. The operating rooms are also there. Other buildings have some radiology equipment. When Xiao Zi heard my question, he realized we were here to gather supplies. So he detailed everything he knew. I nodded. You're coming with us. We'll go to the 12th floor first, then work our way down floor by floor. Right before the zombie outbreak, I hid with my cat in a carefully modified RV. Inside the RV were large stocks of supplies I'd stored in advance. This is my one. I'm going to make it to the end credits. Xiao Zi's heart clenched. Floor by floor, this building had tons of patients coming for consults and exams. The number of zombies in the corridors is huge. They'll be hard to deal with. Leisha grinned and said, bro, trust Sis. If Sis says it'll work, it'll work. Xiao Zi stared at Leisha like he was crazy. He didn't understand why they trusted me so much. Tao Yaring hung up and walked over. The team leader says they'll send a helicopter for rescue, but we need to gather all survivors on the rooftop. Leisha swore directly. Fucking thousands of people. How the hell are they supposed to get to the rooftop through that zombie crowd? After the three of them finished cursing, they all looked at me in unison. Despair mixed with a glimmer of hope. I shrugged. We have to clear the floors anyway. It's just something extra to do. The three immediately got excited. That's why we need you. Sis, you're the best. Xiao Zi and a few survivors stood nearby, totally dumbfounded. No wonder the three were so obedient. They'd latched onto a powerhouse. I walked to the window, grabbed the vine, and climbed up toward the 12th floor above. Xiao Zi knew it was dangerous outside, and immediately backed off, refusing to go, no matter what. Leisha glared at him. We came here to save you, and we risked our lives. You are our mission. You have to come with us. Xiao Zi looked at everyone, figured he couldn't escape this fate, so he joined in. He grabbed the vine tightly, but 10 floors was really too high. Xiao Zi got dizzy, scared into a cold sweat. After reaching the rooftops safely, I summoned my metallized arm and smashed the iron gate blocking the stairwell. Xiao Zi marveled. Could she be the legendary 5-element ability user? So powerful. Entering the floor, the stiff, chaotic footsteps of zombies grew closer. There had to be a lot of them. I led the way, the other four close behind, each activating their own unique abilities. Without a pause, we charged straight down to the first floor. But zombies kept pouring in from outside, and the four of us couldn't hold them off. Seeing that, I crouched down, pressed my palm to the ground, and instantly channeled my ability. The ground surged immediately, forming earthen walls that blocked every entrance, completely sealing the zombies out. Then I activated my lightning ability. Every time a dense barrage of lightning struck, a huge wave of zombies fell. Soon, most of the zombies in the first floor lobby were taken care of. Xiao Zi murmured, I get it now. This is what you meant by the thrill of being carried by a boss. It's awesome. The four cleared the remaining zombies, while rushing into various rooms, to see if there was any important supplies worth taking. I walked into the pharmacy, using my ability to summon agile vines that spread across every shelf, wherever they passed, anywhere it went. All the medicine went into my space. Behind the pharmacy, there's a cold storage room. It holds various injections, antidotes, and vaccines. I'm not leaving a single one behind. I'll stash it all in my space. Sis, there's a lab room over here. It has all kinds of equipment. Should we take it? Tao Yaring's voice came from the next room. I stepped out and glanced at the equipment. My vine spread over. In the blink of an eye, the lab was completely empty. At that moment, Xiao Zi shouted from the hallway. The zombies outside are all cleared. If there are any survivors, come out now. Go to the rooftop and wait for helicopter rescue. His voice echoed through the corridor. Two closed doors cracked open slightly. A few heads poked out. After a moment of observation, 4 or 5 people came out. Their faces were pale. They looked weak. They'd been starving for half a month, surviving only on glucose. Dr. Chiao, is there really a helicopter rescue? Asked a man in a blue work uniform. He was probably a staff member here too. Xiao Zi nodded. The base said they'd send a helicopter. You guys wait on the rooftop. The group stared at the zombie bodies lining the hallway, their faces turning pale with fear. They stood frozen at the door, not daring to move. A nurse in uniform said, her voice trembling, Dr. Chiao, can you take us up there? These zombies are terrifying. I glanced at them. I said coldly, if you don't dare to go, then die here. It's the apocalypse. Stop being so dramatic. At the same time, from a small window on the 3rd floor of the inpatient building across the way, several pairs of eyes were watching us. One of them was holding binoculars, The more he watched, the more serious his expression became. Our intel was off. That Meng Shiwan isn't just a metal-type ability user. I also saw wood, lightning, and space abilities. No wonder she was able to kill Shinpong. The more they thought about it, the more uneasy they felt. Her level of power could only be described as terrifying. But Yaofeng had already given them orders. She had to die today, and they were given a detailed plan. Plan 1. Disguise as survivors. And ambush her when she comes to rescue. If the ambush fails, jump out the window immediately. A wood-type ability user will catch you below. Plan 2. A sniper will take aim at Meng Shiwan. Sniper elimination. If the sniper fails, activate Plan 3. The 3 ability users waiting next door will intercept and kill Meng Shiwan. If Plan 3 also fails, all of you evacuate immediately. Activate Plan 4. Detonate the bombs placed in advance. Blow up the entire building. So what if she has multiple abilities? When her ability energy is exhausted, no amount of abilities will help her. After all this, even a god would shed a layer of skin. I don't believe she'll survive. On the other side, we had already cleared the outpatient building. All medical supplies had been collected. The survivors had also gone to the rooftop to wait for rescue. Tao Yering asked me, "Sis, where to next?" I looked at the building across the street. I said coldly, "The inpatient building. Besides supplies, there might be unexpected surprises." Xiao Zi frowned. The inpatient building. Before the apocalypse, it was almost full. Patients, families, staff. The zombies there are even denser than here. Our abilities might not hold up. Tao Yering echoed, "Sis, our ability energy is nearly drained. Going into the inpatient building now would be too much." I pulled out 2 ability enhancement injections. I chuckled. With him here, there's nothing to fear. Right before the zombie outbreak, I, alone with my cat, hid inside my meticulously modified RV. The RV had all the supplies I'd stored in advance. This, life, I'm going to make it to the end credits. I summoned my vines, and they surged, extending to the rooftop of the inpatient building. In midair, I formed a bridge made of vines. I stepped onto it first. The others followed behind. Xiao Zi slowly crouched down, crawling forward inch by inch on the bridge. Leisha watched his cowardly act, and teased, "Does your girlfriend know you're such a wimp?" Xiao Zi retorted, "The ground is full of zombies. If I fall, I'm dead for sure. It's normal for me to be scared, okay?" We reached the other building. I broke open the iron gate at the rooftop stairwell. I walked in cautiously, just as I descended to the 12th floor. A dense crowd of zombies in hospital gowns charged at us. I activated my lightning ability, striking down the zombies closest to me. Then, ice condensed around me, and a hail of icicles shot out. In just one encounter, a third of the zombies in the hallway were dead. Then my vines slithered into every room, collecting all useful things into my space. We fought our way down to the 5th floor. This was the surgery floor. There were more medical instruments here than on the patient floors. I opened a surgery room door. 3 survivors hiding inside were startled. They all scrambled into corners. When they saw that the person at the door was alive, they collectively sighed in relief. Leisha spoke up. "The zombies upstairs have been cleared. Go to the rooftop and wait. A helicopter will come to take you to the base." When we reached the 3rd floor, Tao Yering exclaimed, "A level 5 ability user. Is this sustainable? We've taken down 2 buildings already, and I still don't see any sign of her ability weakening." Just as she thought that, the door of a nearby surgery room suddenly opened. A middle-aged man in shorts and a t-shirt peeked out from the crack. Tao Yering glanced at him, but didn't pay much attention. She just reminded him to get to the rooftop quickly and wait for the helicopter rescue. The man looked around, then pointed at me as I was collecting supplies and crystals. He said arrogantly, "I'm scared. I want her to escort me up." Tao Yering stared at the man. Her brows furrowed. Someone this brazen, demanding by name to be escorted. That was a first. Tao Yering's expression immediately turned sour. She snapped, "Go if you want, or don't. If you don't, die here. Who do you think you are?" Just then, a few more men came out of the surgery room to the doorway. They exchanged glances, then said, "In this surgery room, there's the most expensive surgical equipment. If you don't take us to the rooftop, we'll smash it all." Hearing that, Leisha stormed over angrily. "Go ahead, smash one. Let me see. I'll beat you so bad your own mom won't recognize you." The men raised their stools and shouted, "You? If that woman doesn't take us to the rooftop, we won't let it go." At the same time, my cold voice rang out. "If a single wire on that machine is damaged, I'll make sure you die right here." The men saw me approach and timidly put down the things in their hands. One of them muttered weakly, "It's not broken. If you don't believe me, come see for yourself." Seeing the arrogant bunch suddenly behave, Leisha murmured to himself, "These idiots. Only Sis can handle them." The next second, the man standing at the front suddenly pulled out a gun and aimed it at me. At that moment, only one thought crossed Leisha's mind: Sis can't die. Right at that critical instant, I used my speed ability to dodge out of the firing range. But just then, Leisha took a big step and blocked my way. I pushed my speed ability to the limit, trying to pull Leisha away. The bullet was too fast. It was too late. The high-speed bullet pierced Leisha's chest. Leisha fell to the ground. Seeing the operation failed, the men prepared to jump out the window and escape. I was furious. In an instant, I shot out ice spikes at their heads. With a few thuds, the men fell in a spray of blood. No response. Leisha collapsed weakly on the ground, his face pale, forehead covered in cold sweat. My voice, suppressing anger, rang out, "Are you stupid? Why take a bullet for me? After 2 lifetimes of indifference, I never dared to imagine someone would risk their life for me." Leisha smiled miserably. "Sis, I told you from now on my life is yours. Without you, we'd be dead already." I said irritably, "Don't talk about dying. You can still talk. That means it didn't hit a vital spot. I instructed Tao Yering and Injian to carry him onto the operating table, then quickly ran out to find Xiaozi. When Xiaozi saw Leija's condition, he felt a chill run through him. Such a big wound. If it gets infected, he didn't dare think further. Prepare surgical supplies, anesthetic, disinfectant, hemostatic bandages, surgical tools. All needed. Tao Yering hurried over, assisting as Xiaozi directed. I took out that ability enhancement liquid from my pocket, walked to Leija, pinched his jaw, and poured it down. I didn't know if it would help, but hoped it would. Just then, I suddenly turned to look out the window. Several bullets flew in at high speed. I immediately activated my precise ability, and a metal shield instantly appeared in front of the window. Danger outside. Stay here. Don't go out. I shut the door and quickly left. In the corridor, 3 ability users charged at me aggressively, fiercely attacking. They used metal blades, ice blades, and fireballs, while forming a metal shield to block. I summoned vines to attack the 3. The 3 realized the danger and activated their abilities to defend. In that instant, I activated my speed ability and closed in on them, slashing their necks with an ice blade. Before death, their faces were full of disbelief. How is this possible? Her ability isn't exhausted yet. More importantly, how does she have speed ability? Hey Lin Dong, what's the situation over there? Answer me. Answer quickly. Following the voice, I fished out a phone from a dead man's pocket. The call showed Yao Feng. Boss, the caller was still shouting. Did the operation succeed? Give me a signal. Lin Dong. I hung up. I scrolled through the chat history. Kill or not organization. So it was them. In my previous life, surviving at the seed base. Of course I'd heard of this organization. They had many skilled people, considerable influence. Before contacting Meng Shiwan, they hired killers to assassinate me. So it was commissioned to kill or not. The organization did it. Since they've provoked me, none of them will get off easy. I dropped the phone and prepared to settle the score with them. But turning, I glanced into the adjacent operating room and saw several red numbers flashing. My scalp tingled. I focused to look. The room was half filled with time bombs, the numbers steadily counting down. If this amount of explosives detonates, the entire building could be destroyed. Not only would the people next door die, but no other survivors would survive. Damn it. I frantically activated my wood ability, vines, densely wrapped around the explosives. In a room in the adjacent lab building, Yao Feng, who hadn't received a reply, was panicking badly. The sniper beside him spoke. We agreed before. If they're alive, they'll definitely send a signal. Now they're likely dead. Hearing this, Yao Feng frowned deeply. He couldn't understand. A level 5 ability woman. Why was she so hard to kill? Boss, what do we do now? The sniper asked urgently. Yao Feng gritted his teeth, then said, forget it. Detonate the bomb. Right before the zombie outbreak, I, along with my cat, hid in my meticulously modified RV. The RV was stocked with supplies I had stored in advance. This life, I'm determined to survive until the end. The sniper picked up the bomb detonator and pressed it with gritted teeth. But something strange happened. A huge explosion did sound, but the inpatient building was still intact. No damage at all. Yao Feng's mind buzzed. He sensed something was wrong. He quickly went to the window and looked down. The explosion had occurred in the parking lot. Thick smoke billowed, burning the writhing zombies. Yao Feng felt a chill. His sixth sense told him, if he didn't retreat now, he would die here. Yao Feng glanced again at the blazing parking lot. That look almost scared him to death. From within the raging flames, a person with a metallic sheen walked out. Its bright eyes were staring at him. Yao Feng sucked in a sharp breath. Go, go, go. This woman is terrifying. No matter what, we can't provoke her again. She quickly led several underlings to the rooftop, preparing to leave by helicopter that was coming to extract them. Looking at my metallized body, I showed a satisfied expression. You bastards. Not one of you is getting away. I opened a vial of ability enhancement liquid and downed it in one gulp. Then I jumped, grabbed the vines, and quickly climbed upward. Seeing me appear on the rooftop, Yao Feng and his men trembled with fear. Their bodies numb. He immediately caved. Boss, I was wrong. I really was wrong. I shouldn't have sent people to assassinate you. It was Meng Shiwan who hired us to kill you. If you want revenge, go after Meng Shiwan. We were just following orders for money. I curled my lips into a bloodthirsty smile, my eyes filled with murderous intent. Yao Feng saw the bad situation and quickly changed his tune. To compensate for the trouble we've caused you, name whatever you want. I'm willing to compensate. I spoke calmly. I'm a person of principle. Anyone who provokes me must die. Supplies and such, I don't care about them. Yao Feng was so scared he dropped to his knees with a thud. The underlings behind him quickly knelt too. All pale with terror, Yao Feng shouted in panic. Boss, don't kill me. I'll give you the whole organization. You be the leader. I'll be your underling. My gaze was icy. I said in a low voice, your deaths are the only compensation for me. Hearing this, Yao Feng hardened his heart. He signaled to the underlings behind him, preparing to fight back. But as soon as they moved, they felt a chill in their hearts. Looking down, a metal rod had pierced clean through them. Yao Feng fell face first to the ground, staring at me in horror. This woman is far more formidable than I imagined. She died with her eyes open. The helicopter that came to pick him up, after seeing the situation below, immediately turned its nose and tried to flee. I melted the metal rod in my hand and condensed it into a long, thin, pointed rod. I aimed at the helicopter's rotor and threw it hard. The rotor caught the rod, and the helicopter instantly became unstable, wobbling as it crashed toward the ground. The survivors on the rooftop were now in a daze, like a group of statues. They didn't even dare to breathe. Meanwhile, the 5 rescue helicopters from the base flew over this way. Gu Jinsheng was sitting in one of the helicopters. He had witnessed the entire scene just now. At this moment, he felt nothing but shock and fear. No one thought that Meng Shiwan, hunted by the Shalima organization, could survive being hunted by the organization. But now, not only is she alive, she's also wiped out the entire Shalima organization. The organization now, looking at the beautiful solitary figure on the rooftop, he felt his heart surge with emotion. His inner admiration grew even stronger. How can you still be hung up on your ex-girlfriend? Meng Shiwan, sitting beside him, her tone indifferent, laced with mockery. Faced with the fact that Meng Shiwan could fight back, he seemed to have been mentally prepared all along. No shock, no surprise. Instead, he was as calm as an outsider. Gu Jinsheng frowned and said, "You wanted to kill Meng Shiwan so badly. Now not only is she not dead, she's even strong enough to kill Shala in return. The organization, aren't you angry?" Meng Shiwan remained calm throughout. The helicopter slowly descended. She didn't answer Gu Jinsheng's question either. Gu Jinsheng scratched his hair in irritation. Since the apocalypse began, these two sisters had completely changed their personalities. They were really hard to figure out. Before, they fought over his affection. Now they both acted like they couldn't care less about him. It made him very unhappy. The helicopter slowly landed on the rooftop of the lab building. The wind from the rotor blew my hair around. I stared at the two people getting off the helicopter, clenching my fists. Killed. The organization is destroyed. These two culprits. How could I let them go? Just as I was about to make a move, Gu Jinsheng's eager voice rang out. "Shiwan, are you hurt? Are you okay? You two sisters can have a little spat. But don't let it get out of hand because of me." Upon hearing this, the ability inside me raged along with my emotions. I didn't want to see this man live another second. Just as I was about to condense an ice spike to kill him, a gunshot exploded on the rooftop. I watched helplessly as the back of Gu Jinsheng's head burst into a mist of blood. His body went limp and collapsed to the ground. Then I saw Meng Shiwan standing there, slowly holstering her pistol. Her eyes were full of coldness and disgust. Gu Jinsheng, even in death, wouldn't understand why Meng Shiwan killed him. What's going on? Meng Shiwan killed Gu Jinsheng. I, who am usually calm, was also shocked, speechless by the scene. I looked at Meng Shiwan. Suddenly, my heart skipped a beat. At that moment, the aura around Meng Shiwan was completely different. World-weary and steady. Indifferent. You've been reborn. I'm now very certain. The Meng Shiwan before me definitely doesn't have the demeanor of this time period. Meng Shiwan put away her pistol and smiled. "Long time no see. You don't know how much I've missed you all these years." Meng Shiwan died in the 3rd year of the apocalypse, and Meng Shiwan traveled back from the 10th year. She wasn't lying. The more she saw of the apocalypse's truth, the more she missed Meng Shiwan. Meng Shiwan regretted it countless times over those years. Why she had taken Meng Shiwan's RV. I stared at her, frowning deeply, as if trying to see something. Why did you kill Gu Jinsheng? In the past life, they were inseparable. What reason made her seize the opportunity to kill her own husband? Meng Shiwan looked at the corpse on the ground with disgust. Fickle and unfaithful. A selfish piece of trash. Alive, he's just a waste of food. In the later stages of the apocalypse, human survival had become extremely difficult. They left the seed base for various reasons, and later built their own base. Meng Shiwan supported Gu Jinsheng as the base leader, who knew that bastard had some ability, and then frequently cheated on her, even during big battles. At critical life or death moments, he used her as a shield. The thing Meng Shiwan most wanted to do after rebirth was to kill Gu Jinsheng. Unfortunately, it was never a good time to act inside the base. This rescue mission, she didn't come out to settle scores with Meng Shiwan, but to settle old grudges with Gu Jinsheng. The thing Meng Shiwan most wanted to do after rebirth was to kill Gu Jinsheng. Unfortunately, it was never a good time to act inside the base. This rescue mission, she didn't come out to settle scores with Meng Shiwan, but to settle old grudges with Gu Jinsheng. How long did the apocalypse last? Has it ended? I asked coldly. Meng Shiwan spoke in an extremely complicated tone. The apocalypse is a conspiracy, and you've entered the eye of the storm. Conspiracy? What are you talking about? I asked sharply. Meng Shiwan was about to speak, when a huge ice pillar suddenly stabbed into her body. Who? Blood splattered onto me. I screamed in shock. Meng Shiwan, struggling, looked at me. "Shiwan, whether the apocalypse can be broken depends on you." I watched her slowly close her eyes. Everything happened too suddenly. I was at a loss. Who killed Meng Shiwan? And who is spying on everything happening now? A flood of questions troubled me. Originally, I just wanted to rely on the system to survive the apocalypse. But now it seems that's not possible. I need to find the truth. I have to break the deadlock. The other helicopters, after waiting a long time for Gu Jinsheng's rescue signal, turned around to check. The rescue team leader had just gotten off the helicopter and saw two corpses lying on the ground. His mind buzzed with a loud crash. He hadn't seen these two ancestors for just a moment. How were they already cold? How would he explain this when they got back? I returned to the inpatient building. The door of the 3rd floor operating room was still shut tight. I didn't know how Leisha was doing. Just then, Tao Yering came out of the operating room. Sensing my low mood, she asked with concern, "Sis, what's wrong?" I forced a weak smile. "Nothing. How is Leisha?" "The bullet in his body has been removed. No signs of mutation have been found so far. He's quite lucky." At that moment, Xiao Zi also came over. He should wake up once the anesthesia wears off. Ability users have good physical constitutions. Recovery will be faster. Looking at the people before me, after a moment of thought, I spoke. "I plan to form an ability user team. I want to invite you all to join." Upon hearing my words, they exclaimed in surprise. They immediately expressed willingness. "You? Join? Such a strong thigh. We have to hold on tight." Great, our ability user team is now officially established. By the way, I'll tell you some good news. Meng Shiwan and Gu Jinsheng are dead. Inside the base, Gu's father and Meng Shiwan, upon seeing the two bodies, wailed loudly. They couldn't believe what they saw. When they left the base, they were fine. Now they're gone, just like that. No one could accept it. Gu's father looked coldly at the rescue team leader. What happened? I can't explain clearly. I'll kill you today. The rescue team captain's voice trembled. At that time, I saw Meng Shiwan with them. Not sure about the specifics. Gu Fu glared at Meng Shiwan. You have to give me a satisfactory explanation for this. At this moment, our group was on the way back to the base. We traveled, while killing zombies and taking crystal cores, with everyone's unanimous approval. We named our team the Dawn Squad. Leisha has mostly recovered. He wanted to test if he could release his ability, to see if the injury had any effect. He used his lightning ability to strike the zombies outside. With one move, Leisha was stunned. He looked at his hand in disbelief. Holy shit, holy shit, holy shit, is this my ability? Based on his previous ability level, killing a dozen or 20 zombies was the max. But now, at least 100 or two. Tao Yering gasped. Did you do that? In their understanding, only I could do something like that. Leisha was starting to doubt himself. He released his ability again and killed another large group. Never thought that after a serious injury, his ability would skyrocket. I stood nearby, face full of exasperation. What an idiot. How could a serious injury make his ability skyrocket? It was because I gave him an ability enhancement potion that worked. Tao Yering, unaware, looked envious. That's a thing. Next time, take a bullet for me. You stay far away. Let me do it. I gritted my teeth silently. Truly, where there's a sleeping dragon, there's a young phoenix. What kind of teammates did I pick? After a long while, I slowly spoke. Since we're teammates now, I won't hide something from you. I have a potion. Drinking it can enhance abilities. Leisha's ability increased because when he was injured, I gave him one dose. The few of them were completely shocked. So that's how it is. That's too overpowered. Xiao Zi asked excitedly. Has the base already developed a potion that can enhance abilities? He thought if there really was such a good thing, it must be the result of the base gathering various researchers, working together. I shook my head, looked at everyone. It's not from the base. Only I have it. And besides you all, no one else knows. Their shocked minds immediately started working. This overpowered thing must be kept secret. If others find out, trouble will follow. Tao Yering hemmed and hawed. Sis, on this. Can this potion, be? I guess what she was thinking. She wanted to ask if she could buy it, but was too embarrassed to say it directly. I have two kinds of potions. One is called Ability Recovery Potion. After drinking it, depleted ability in the body instantly returns to peak condition. 100 crystal cores per dose. The other is Ability Enhancement Potion. You all know the effect. 200 crystal cores per dose. As long as you have crystal cores, you can buy from me, even though I doubled the price. Tao Yering and the others were overjoyed. So cheap. Such awesome stuff. Only costs 200 crystal cores? Leisha asked excitedly. Sis, how many doses of enhancement potion can make someone a level 5 ability user? Based on my previous tests, 2 doses can achieve that. Wow. 2 doses only need 400 crystal cores to become a powerful level 5 ability user. You zombies. I'll fight you to the death. Leisha howled as he struck down wave after wave of zombies. Then Tao Yering released vines, stabbing into zombie heads, extracting the crystal cores. The two worked quite well together. And Jiawen and Xiao Zi's abilities were not offensive. They stared at the piles of zombies outside, scratching their heads in frustration. The convoy slowly drove out of the central area, getting closer to the base. Tao Yering frowned and said, Hey, we've only been out a few days. How did a wall appear around the base? Leisha craned his neck to look. It's actually metal. So luxurious. Seventh brother, what are they doing? Getting closer, we realized. The metal wall was curved inward. At the top of the wall, there were metal ability users, continuously raising the wall higher. I frowned coldly. It seems Meng Shiwan has already told the base about what will happen in the future. According to the development in my past life, after extreme heat comes acid rain. Acid rain is highly corrosive. It caught people off guard. Countless people died in it. With Meng Shiwan's warning, the base should be preparing in advance to withstand various future disasters. So this isn't a city wall. It's a giant canopy. Right before the zombie outbreak, I, with my cat, hid inside my carefully modified RV. The RV had a large amount of supplies I stored in advance. This life, I'm going to make it to the end credits. As soon as the vehicle drove into the base, a group of people immediately surrounded it. Led by Zhang Hanyu, a group blocked the front of the car, mouths opening and closing, saying something. Without listening, I could guess what they wanted to say. Nothing more than trying to recruit me. Zhang Hanyu yelled loudly. Boss, join my construction team. I'll assign you 8 male models. Everyone else looked like they'd swallowed a fly, staring at him. How can someone be so shameless? Wu Ming looked at Zhang Hanyu with disdain. How can you be like this? Do you have any conscience? Boss, I'll give you 10. Everyone fell silent. To recruit the boss, they've thrown all shame away. Zhang Hanyu didn't back down. Bullshit. Right now, all the metal ability users in the base are working overtime to build the canopy. This is a matter of the entire base's safety. Meng Shiwan will definitely join our construction team. This is a critical time for collecting supplies. Meng Shiwan's space ability is very valuable. She should join our supply collection team. Watching them start chattering again, I spoke. Make any offer you want. Everyone immediately quieted down, eagerly waiting for me to speak. I want to be the base leader. I crossed my arms, raised an eyebrow, and looked at everyone. Everyone shook their heads in unison. No, that won't work. I pursed my lips, acting like I was settling for less. Then I want all the crystal cores in the base. Everyone's eyes widened in shock. Mouths dropped open. That's impossible. Boss, I shrugged. You say no to this, no to that. No sincerity at all. Nothing to discuss then. Zhang Hanyu got anxious. Miss Ming, last time you said you'd consider joining a team after Meng Qinghua died. Now she's dead. Please think it over. I corrected him. I said, whoever helps me kill Meng Qinghua and Gu Jingxian, I'll join that person's team. Which of you killed those two? Everyone was silent. Wu Ming asked, then do you know who killed them? I don't know. I shrugged, looking like it didn't concern me. You're full of shit. You killed her. Give me back my daughter's life. A hysterical roar came from behind them. Everyone turned to look. Yuan stood not far away, holding a pistol in her hand, aimed at me. Meng Hanyuan got out of the car to stop her, but he was too late. The bullet was fired. Everyone quickly activated their abilities, especially Zhang Hanyu. He was a precision ability user. He could block a shot for Yuan. Unfortunately, there was no speed ability user present. Given the bullet's speed, they could protect themselves, but there was no way to protect me in time. With a clang, I stretched out my left hand, which gleamed with metallic luster. I was holding that bullet in my hand. Zhang Hanyu breathed a sigh of relief. He tapped his own head. He was an 8-type, level 5 ability user. How could he not block a single bullet? Everyone had just relaxed when they saw a pistol appear in my hand too. No, Wu Ming tried to stop me. I had already pulled the trigger. The bullet flew out. It hit Yuan right between the eyes. This time, no one could stop that bullet. Yuan's eyes went wide. She fell straight backward. Meng Hanyuan stepped forward to catch her. She was already dead. He turned his head and glared at me viciously. If I had known you were so vicious when you were born, I should have strangled you. My killing intent hadn't faded. I pointed the pistol at Meng Hanyuan. Meng Hanyuan was startled. His heart skipped a beat. His face pale. You're going to commit patricide? At that moment, he felt as if the blood in his body had turned cold. I dared to kill Yuan openly. Maybe I really would kill him. Zhang Hanyu and the others saw this. They quickly pushed down my pistol. Earlier, it could be considered self-defense. But now, I really couldn't kill. I put away the pistol and snorted coldly. First, Meng Qinghua and Gu Jinsheng were not killed by me. Second, didn't you see that it was your mistress who first raised a gun to kill me? Finally, didn't you say I'm no daughter of yours? When life and death were at stake. You talk about fatherhood. Why are you suddenly calling yourself my father now? Are you such a coward, Meng Hanyuan? His face turned red and pale by turns. Yuan is your mother, and you treated her like this. Do you still have any humanity? Besides, you're an ability user. Yuan couldn't kill you at all. What you did is pure malice. Inhumane. At the scene of Meng Qinyue's death, only you were there. If you didn't kill her, then who did? How could I have given birth to such a thing as you? I clenched my metal-covered fist. With a flash step, I appeared in front of Meng Hanyuan. I couldn't tolerate it anymore. No need to hold back. Thud, thud, thud. Heavy punches landed. Just a few punches, and Meng Hanyuan's whole body was swollen like a pig. He passed out. I withdrew my hand and looked coldly at the crowd. I hit someone. What are you going to do about it? Everyone was stunned. The head of the security division scratched his head hard. Then, pay a fine. I tossed him a few pieces of pure gold jewelry. Enough? The security division head quickly took them. Enough, enough. Boss, take care. Zhang Hanyu saw I was about to leave, and still wasn't willing to give up. The others saw the situation and followed too. Seeing this, I looked at everyone and said flatly, I won't join any department. I've formed my own ability user team. Tao Yaring, Lei Zhou, and Jiawen. And that water-type ability user we rescued. They are all my team members now. If your base can accept me, good. If not, we'll just go to another base. In any case, don't bother me. We accept you all. Even if we can't be teammates, we can still be friends, right? Since we're friends. So, are those 8 male models still on the table? I coughed lightly and said seriously, yes. We'll arrange them for the boss right away. Zhang Hanyu's mind worked fast. Being able to flatter me was his honor. I waved my hand. Keep the male models for yourself. I don't need them. With that, I turned and left. I arrived at the point exchange office. Over time, I had saved up quite a lot of gold and jewelry. Let's see how many points these are worth. A moment later, a staff member handed me a piece of paper. It showed the total points, 580,000. I took the certificate to the counter to process. When the staff member saw 580,000 points, they were visibly shocked. Such a large amount of points was rarely seen. After double-checking to confirm it was correct, they loaded the points onto my residency card. After it was done, I walked toward the RV. Just as I was about to open the door, a loud shout came from behind. Sis. It's you, sis. We meet again. What a coincidence, sis.